the recording software is working this time around, which is good. So if everyone's okay with it, we'll record this space.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so CJ, the other co-host is my buddy Abe. We went to school together. He's based in the area too.
Yeah, nice to meet you, CJ, man. Definitely gotta get some drinks in Boston sometime, man.
We all got to get a drink. Eric, what's up, man? How's it going? Good to see you, John. Good to see you. Don't hate, celebrate.
I wish we had more speakers.
Yeah, if anyone wants to come up, feel free to shoot a request over.
I'm going to tweet this space out quick and post the announcement in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm going to share it. My tweet.
I'm just going to approve speaker requests for now.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Good to see y'all.
What's up, John? Good to see you too, man.
How's it going, John? Eric, what's up?
What up, John?
Hey, how's it going?
Yo, Eric, last time you came into my last space, and you were like, yeah, I'm kind of an influencer in the music space. And I didn't notice till after you left. I clicked on your profile, and I was like, oh, shit, you have like 70,000 followers.
Yeah, I built a couple of things.
CJ asked in that last room, he said, I think, Eric, you asked CJ a question. You asked Crypto Jesus a question. And then before answering, he prefaced by saying, well, Eric, do you know much about DeFi at all? And you're like, a little. I built some of the more prominent wallets.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit.
Did I get rugged just for you, Abe, or CJ, did I get rugged for you too?
No, I heard you. But Eric, I love meeting people like that because, as you know, like in the crypto Twitter world and especially in the NFT Twitter side of things, there aren't too many developers. But like, I mean, I'm pretty new into the development side of the space. Don't get me wrong. I've been here since 2016. But like, you know, I'm now like deep, like elbow deep into DeFi protocol development.
Nice. It's a fun, crazy world. It's a little bit scary, though, like having all that money on the line if you introduce a bug into the code.
Oh, I know. That's why for our protocol, we did an NFT sale actually to raise money for our audit because we wanted to get an audit from like one of the top 3, Open Zeppelin, Consensus, or I think it's Digibyte is the last one.
That's such a brilliant strategy, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So that's the route we did. We did an NFT sale to raise money for the audit, and thankfully we were able to raise more than enough money for the audit. So actually, all the leftover funds are going into a DAO that will be controlled by all the NFT holders so they can decide what to do with the leftover money.
So cool. Love that.
And speaking of strategy, and as we have some more people jump in the room, I just want to set the stage real quick. Obviously, the title speaks for itself a little bit. Definitely want to be able to feel free to chat crypto and anything interesting that's going on. But, the reason that I want to start the spaces is because in the crypto space, and especially on crypto Twitter, there's so much information happening all the time, and it can be overwhelming to consume all of it. And then especially in these spaces, there's like a lot of alpha being leaked and a lot of really like conceptually deep topics or technical topics that get discussed. And I really love like the Web3 crypto NFT community a ton. But I don't think that means that the topic of discussion always has to be strictly about crypto strategy and things like that. I like this community, exclusive from that. We can vibe and talk about other things at the same time. I love nerding out on this stuff. So happy to talk about really anything, but just wanted to have a place where we can relax a little bit, especially Sunday evening for the people on the East Coast and just hang out.
Hey, I got a question. What's your favorite tea, Alex?
My favorite tea? I think we talked about this a little. Maybe you were in the room. I guess you consider it a tea. Still, mud water.
What is mud water? I've never heard of it.
Oh, yeah, I've tried that, actually. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. If anyone wants to be a speaker, feel free to just raise your hand and come on up. But it's a mix of like a lot of things, like some like mushroom powders and stuff, and it's supposed to just give and like matcha.
I've heard
It
of
gives you
this.
like nice sustained energy versus coffee.
Pita Bread, what's up, man? He's connecting, but Pita's a homie.
We got NYC, what up?
Hey, Pita Bread, how's it going?
Good, man. How you been?
Good, you?
Living the dream, man. So, I like to join and just add value and then shut the hell up. So, for our Spanish-speaking brethren out there and sisters, me and Jesus, I've been on so many rooms today. So give me a second. Me and Dante, Dante Arc, decided to take hot shots analysis, and Dante fully translated it into Spanish. So as soon as Hotshot has a chance to take a look at that and give his blessing as approval of distribution, I hope that me and Dante are able to push that out. However, Hotshot seems appropriate. Respecting people's intellectual property is super important to me, and it's important in this space. So, because I was in a few rooms this weekend and they were in Spanish, and I was excited, and they were talking about Hotshot's analysis, and they're like, we don't really understand the full breadth of it and the depth of it. I was like, read it. They're like, well, some of the things elude us. So I reached out to Dante. Dante did a phenomenal job translating this. He's completely fluent at a collegiate level and better. So super dope. I hope to see that out hopefully this week. So there's the value. Keep it pushing, guys. Love y'all.
I hope Dante will be in this space soon. I think he might be in the Intercoin one. But for those of you
Dante's
that
at the
don't
gym,
know,
bro.
Oh, Dante's at the gym.
Dante's doing leg day.
But yeah,
every day's leg day, man.
Hey,
what's
could
up,
you tell me
Symbolic?
Hey, Alex. I just was curious. Where do I read this document you're referring to right now?
Oh, I'll pin it up top.
Cool.
Okay, Hotshot Metaverse one, or am I mislistening?
Is this the analysis of the mecha drop thing?
Yeah, it's that.
Yes, it is.
But Dante translated it into Spanish because there's a bunch of Spanish speakers out there that weren't able to consume it properly.
All right, I pinned it up top, guys. Like and retweet this. What we need to see here is more on-chain analysis. And the cool thing that OK Hotshot did here is, it's something anyone could potentially do because all these transactions are public. All this data is public, and that's the beauty of the blockchain and decentralization and being more transparent. And he kind of just exposed that transparency so everyone could understand it in a more mutual term. But, it's a lot of work. It's definitely nothing that's easy. You're putting together hundreds of transactions. It takes a lot of fucking time. So it's definitely worth a like and a retweet. And hopefully we start to see some NFT auditing companies come out of this kind of work. That would be really cool.
I think there's definitely a spot for crypto forensics. It's going to be a huge. I like every company, every group that drops an NFT, like a serious big money NFT or a company based around NFTs. You've got to have this.
Yeah, John, I'm not sure if you remember, but me, Mark Dusa, and Anthony, remember we tracked down that hacker, and see, most 99.9% of the time, my entire time in this industry since 2016, I've never been able to see people successfully recover their money. But I always look into these transactions just in case someone leaves a terrible trail. But the odds are, at the end of the day, it goes to Coinbase, it goes to Binance, it goes to Gemini, blah blah blah. And sadly, these companies aren't going to expose user data, even if it is a hack. And same with Discord. And obviously that needs to change. And you saw Ben's thread about how Discord allows people, if they pay, they can essentially just copy your user ID, which is a huge problem because people will pretend to be people like Gary Vee and have the same numbers as his Discord ID and do this to manipulate and steal money from people. But thankfully, I've only had one case where I was able to recover $200,000 in NFTs.
Adding on to that thing
Discord
about
needs to fix that.
Discord needs to fix that super fast. I'm in I don't know if any of you know NFT Raven, but he runs this sort of like it's basically attempting to be an anti-scam group where he sort of updates people on like a bunch of different projects that are doing sketchy shit, different sort of scam accounts and so on. But sometimes people will come in and like pretend to be other people in the Discord on like different accounts. And then they'll fucking like message you in the DMs and it's like, I had one dude who's like, oh, I really like your art. It's only for this price. I might buy it. I'm like, cool, you should do so. And then he was like, oh, I can help you get you verified on this. Just pay me this. And I was like, what the fuck, man? Fuck you.
Yeah. See, I just penned Ben's tweet, but what happened is someone in our Discord pretended to be me. And what they did is they had the exact same number ID as me, but, you know, technically you can't have translation for translation of username and number ID. So there's just like a sly little space in between Crypto Jesus, but the same number ID. And this guy came into the Discord, like learned my vernacular, like literally spoke just like me, and then would continue conversations that I held in the Discord in private with these people, and that's how he scammed them. And it was the craziest fucking shit. Thankfully, it was limited to only 2 members of the Discord, but you know these people are out there, and they'll do.
They're ruthless. They're fucking
they're ruthless. Hell, I mean, that one person that I was able to track down was a 19-year-old college student in Oklahoma.
Is that the that imitated your voice, like your cadence? And that's crazy to me. So,
well, he imitated my vernacular, so like the way I typed, essentially, my diction.
Writing. I thought it was your voice you were talking about. I'm like, it's gone to that level.
But I don't doubt that. You know, it is more than possible. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I mean, people could just record people's voices. They could splice that shit together. I mean, people. I'm sure they've already attempted to do things like that with Gary Vee. If not, they're thinking about it.
Put it on a keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anyone any ideas. I'll stop talking after this. But you know how they put every word? Hello, I'm crypto. Anyways, I'm done.
Yeah. What's up, Eric?
So I just want to say, like, people have been imitating me and attempting to scam people on Twitter for years. And because, like, ever since I first said something like crypto, or I think in my bio or something like, so I just urge everybody to be super cautious about getting DMs from people. Like, if you get a DM from somebody, verify that you're talking to the person that you think you're talking to before you do any kind of transaction with those people. Because there's a ton of scammers all over Discord, all over Twitter, and you can't trust anybody really. So be very careful.
Always look at the too, even if it's like unless it's someone you like really know, make sure it's fucking OpenSea.io. Make sure it's
and even then, like, people will put the slightest iterations in all these things. You know, they'll post hidden URLs with covers and things like that. Just none of us will ever DM any of you guys first. The best way is Twitter is great because, you know, you can see exactly how many followers someone has, and, you know, you can't fake that. I mean, obviously you can buy fake followers, but, you know, hey, Crypto Jesus has this exact amount of followers. He follows this many people, and you can see my entire tweet history. You can see when my account was created, blah, blah, blah. And then you can just click the message icon next to my profile name. And, you know, you could do the same thing with Eric. But the problem is, you know, when you get into Discord and places like this, Discord is so much more of a problem because it's not the exact same way. Sure, in a server, you could click on my name and message me, and that's the way it should go. But I mean, you could potentially be clicking on a malicious person who has the same name and the same number that's just hiding in my Discord.
Isn't the number generated automatically by Discord?
No, symbolic. So if you pay for Discord's premium Nitro, you can set what you want your number to be.
Oh.
And that's the problem, because that should be the random verifier to prevent that kind of activity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? I see some hands raised, but we also have a bunch of new people that joined, so I just wanted to take a second to reset. Tay, I'm not going to blow up your spot, but send me a 100 if you're willing to come up and talk. I would love that. But for those who just joined or joined in the past couple minutes, the title kind of speaks for itself. I just wanted to take some time on a Sunday evening to relax and hang out with each other, not get too heavy into like some of the deep crypto stuff, and I mean down to talk crypto, but also just remind everyone that's it's not a race that we're in, and we can have a good time and still engage with our community without the topic always having to be crypto. Again, love to talk that. But yeah, so just want to hang out. Please, anyone who wants to come up and talk, please do. And just some hands raised.
NYC NFTs, I think, was next, and then Peter Bread.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, CJ? I heard you talking about how you saw about like auditors coming in to try to provide some security around the whole how there's a bunch of scams and malicious acts in this space. How soon do you think that could be a thing, and how would that even kind of be possible because of just how decentralized everything is? And
that's a great question. So it's less of an audit in sense of code integrity and more of how financial structures work within the project. So to see, hey, these payments are set up for these things. So what OK Hotshot did in his exposures, he could see, first off, the metadata, which is the data that shows which IDs are going to have which properties, was revealed before the actual images and properties were revealed on OpenSea. So what happened is these developers, they went in and were essentially doing insider trading because they knew which of these NFTs on the floor of their own collection were going to be super rare. So they just bought them up off the floor on OpenSea or paid higher prices and then would just flip them as soon as they revealed. So that was the more that was the interaction there. That's kind of post-sale kind of thing. But a whole nother aspect of what's going on in NFT projects right now is just straight up rugs. And what you can do as an individual to kind of get around that is, one, we need to more normalize projects that are set up to benefit the community and not the individuals that create the project. Mm-hmm. So like nonprofit projects are great, or what I think should be a standard and what I think will probably start happening soon for users to start trusting these projects like I did with my own, is project creators should just own some of their NFTs for free. Like, hey, keep 100 out of 10,000 of your NFTs, and that's your payment. And this way, if the project does well, if you do all the shit you say you're going to do, and you're confident in your work, it'll do well and you'll do well.
Can I add something really quickly? I just think it would be really cool to have a DAO that's focused on basically what OK Hotshot did, like going through and fucking actually verifying transactions for big projects.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But I mean, the thing is, like, you would need to also structure some reward system around that, right? Because that kind of work takes a lot of time. Obviously, you have people that are going to volunteer to do those kind of things, but the people that are going to volunteer to do those kind of things would rather post it on their own individual Twitter profiles. I mean, OK Hotshot's tweet got over 1,000 retweets. Obviously, he's just trying to spread awareness. But, you want to take credit for your own work. And it'd be great to see DAOs and entities come forth and do work like this, but it needs to be incentivized somehow.
Yeah.
And what we need to figure out is how to incentivize that kind of work, because there's no direct contribution to publishing this work. I don't know. Maybe you could. I think the coolest way is if someone had a decentralized social media network that you essentially got paid for how many likes and followers and retweets you got there. Boom. That's direct incentive right there. But that's a little bit of a ways away.
Yeah, there's also like the Gitcoin grant kind of thing where somebody does something really cool that gets a lot of support, and then you just go and put up a little grant thing, and then people vote on it and say like, yeah, this was super valuable to me. I want to reward this creator.
Eric is 100% right. Definitely take advantage. A lot of people don't know about Gitcoin, Eric. I mean, it just came out, like, I think it was like 3 months ago. But Gitcoin is super cool. Like, if you guys don't know, GitHub is essentially a development platform for coders all over the world, and it allows for a lot of open source collaboration on code. The problem is, before, open source devs really weren't getting paid whatsoever unless you're in the very, very niche development pools. So GitHub was like, hey, let's come up with a way to reward open source development with financial incentive. So they created Gitcoin, their own cryptocurrency. And basically the way it works is GitHub as a collective, they essentially, people go and they submit their work and they vote on it and they reward individuals' work with X amount of Gitcoin. It's a really cool system.
So I just want to clarify. It wasn't GitHub that put it together. It's this guy Iwoki. He's really cool guy in the ecosystem. But yeah, it was designed specifically to reward the open source people who contributed software to the ecosystem. But the model would work for literally anything. Like if you do something popular, and then you put up a little grant thing, a grant page on a site like Gitcoin, that could really work. I think Gitcoin is way too geeky. It's a really hard interface for most of the other people who are not coders to use. But something like that for the masses would be great, I think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, someone could even build like a UI on top of the Gitcoin smart contract interactions and the
Yeah, for
for the
sure.
DAO.
For sure. That's a really good point because Gitcoin has really put a lot of effort into fairly rewarding people. So they use this system to distribute the funds across more people instead of all of the funds just going to the most popular projects. So it kind of distributes things a bit more evenly. So even projects that are not the top 1% will get some decent funding.
Can I ask, how do I look at this not so easy interface? How do you engage with Git?
You can go to their website, actually. I don't know what the website is offhand. If you give me 1 second, I can find out.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm actually looking into learning how to code. Right now I'm an iron worker, but I got into a pretty gnarly accident, so I'm not really thinking I'm gonna be doing that for much longer. But my friend, he did Lambda schooling, and he said it was nice. He's really smart dude. But if anyone has any other suggestions or recommendations on a pathway to take, I would definitely love to hear that out.
So
my
on
friend
YouTube,
did Lambda as well, and he recommended Lambda.
Excuse me, what was that?
My buddy did Lambda as well. My buddy did Lambda. He was in a similar like working field as what it seems you do now, and he did Lambda, and he enjoyed it.
So I just want to point out, I just tweeted a link to Gitcoin. So if you want to go and check it out.
Eric, you want to pin it?
I haven't done that before.
So if you click the share button, the upward pointing arrow, it'll say at the top, sharing spaces.
Like of your tweet, if you go to like share it like you would sharing it, like DMing it or something, you can post it here.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Anyway, NYC NFTs. What I suggest is on YouTube. This guy is my favorite by far. There's this guy called Eat the Blocks, and he's really fucking good. And he also has his own classes and everything, but he's got a lot of really great free material. And so, a lot of his videos are like 6 hours long, and he'll be like, how to create your own cryptocurrency from start to finish, and it's very step by step. He's great. He is the best person I have personally found in the industry.
All right, cool. I'm definitely gonna check him out. You said
and I was gonna say
blocks,
also
right?
NYC NFTs.
Yeah, Eat the Blocks.
Yeah, cool. Eat the Blocks is great, and also if you want to join like a boot camp too, there's one coming up in 2 months or so by ChainSafe, and they're kind of like one of the top developer incubators in the space. And you can kind of learn Solidity while also not really need to know much beyond just like really basic JavaScript.
Okay, awesome. So it was Eat the Blocks and ChainSpace.
Babe, I think that was for you, but also NYC. Like, feel free to follow or DM any of the other speakers up here, especially definitely Abe. I know Abe's down to chat, so hit him up, and CJ as well. Crypto Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
NYC, did that help?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go look into the YouTube channel right now. Well, not right now, but write it down for later. But and definitely gonna start on that probably later tonight.
Sweet.
So guys, if you want to learn how to build like smart contracts and stuff like that, we actually offer a mentorship program at devanywhere.io. So definitely check that out. That's one-on-one mentorship, and we've got people who are personally trained by me to help you out. If you're lucky, you might even get to mentor directly with me one-on-one.
Ooh, you guys
definitely
hear that?
Pin that up there.
You can be with Eric.
Definitely pin that link up top.
That's pretty awesome, Eric.
Yeah, pin that link too for sure.
And
Thanks,
Eric
bro.
is follow
Eric,
again.
out of
Reminder,
curiosity, are there
Eric.
any requirements for? I was going to say, Eric, are there any requirements for being able to start like that one-on-one mentorship? Like, do you already need to be a dev, or can it just be someone that knows nothing about coding?
No, you don't need to know anything. We can meet you where you are. That's kind of one of the great things about one-on-one is that you don't have to like have prerequisites. We can help you with wherever you're starting out.
Hey, Eric, what's the cost, man?
The cost is $1,200 a month.
Okay, cool. That's dope, man. Thank you. You mind if I just share something real quick?
Yeah, go for it, Peter, and then we got Chris. And then if anyone else wants to speak, definitely request.
So I'm out here trying to figure out what materials do I want to teach my kids about crypto and stuff like that. Joined the Clubhouse room and heard about this pretty dope platform, and I went into it for an hour on this Clubhouse room. It's a pinned tweet, but it simulates trading for free. So they just have to go in, register, and you can simulate actual crypto trading for free with no risk. And they're doing a gamification model where you're like playing against each other. And the last thing I want to say before I silence myself for a long time is what you guys were talking about crypto earlier about hotshots analysis. That's trading analysis, man. You hit it on the head. It's a financial analysis. It's a technical analysis. That's the kind of shit we really got to get into. Like, that's not development work per se. That's financial sector work that we all need to understand for our own education and our own safety as a community. We're policing
You're 100%
ourselves.
right, Peter. I mean, the thing is, what you're saying, that trading simulator, I feel like that's better for a somewhat older audience, but still young. If you're about to get into crypto, but you want to feel out the volatility and maybe like you say, hey, I did some research on this coin, but I don't necessarily want to risk the money at this point. I want to see if the things I found in my research are good, and then you simulate buying that coin. And then if your research is good and the coin as well, then you can start thinking about, hey, I'm going to do research on this coin. And then if my research checks out, I'll put some actual money into this.
I hear
I think
you.
that's a better model for that. But I mean, as far as maybe education for kids, I feel like you might want to go down maybe the more technical route, or maybe even just like the metaverse route.
I do, but I found this and I thought it was hella cool because I was in a conversation with like a 12-year-old who was kicking the pants off of 430-something-year-olds. So I agree. I'd rather have kids learn Solidity, Python, and how to build the world rather than trade on the world. But there are some kids that are going to be in the scope of, I just want to learn how to move things around and logistics and how to move in exchanges. Some kids are wired that way.
You're
Yeah,
100% right. I mean, everyone needs to learn every side of the aisle. It's good to be well rounded. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is right now we see cryptocurrency as more of a financial tool, but that's not how it's going to look in 5 years from now.
I have to say one quick thing. I pray to Ethereum that gas goes down.
Oh, it will be. Gas will be coming way down, man. And I'm so hyped. I always tell everyone it's like plus or minus 3 months
L2s,
from March
baby.
of 2022, but it's going to be nice when ETH goes proof of stake.
I can't fucking wait. This is such a fucking pain in the ass.
That's
Literally, the
supposed to be
whole market
December,
is going
right?
to change. What was up?
That's supposed to be December. ETH 2.0 is releasing.
No, so there's no definite date on it. It's certain blocks are when certain updates come out, and there's no specific time frame. There's estimates, but it's basically after the next update, then they can give a better estimate on when the update following that will happen. I like to tell people March of 2022 plus or minus 3 months as a safety net measure.
Okay.
Hey guys,
It is way closer than it's ever been before. So they just got together a bunch of people here this month. They got together a bunch of people, and they put up proof of stake nodes, and they all had them coordinating and connecting together and running their test nets, and it was working really well. So hopefully, it is going to be just around the corner early next year, maybe. But we don't have a timeline until they set the block date, the block number that it's going to be released on.
Also, real quick, guys, if there's anyone up on stage that has already spoken or is done speaking or doesn't have anything specific they want to talk about, we do have some requests. Specifically, Victoria, I know that you requested, and I think it was probably off the topic of education that we were talking about yesterday that just got brought up now. So I would love for you to speak at some point. I think we have room now.
Hey, I'm going to jump off stage, but I just wanted to say this is a great conversation. I'm literally taking notes. And also, Umba Daima wants to send shout outs to you guys. Big love. And thank you. Yo, I love the, like not necessarily. Actually, if I could, before I go, I'm gonna just ask a question that's on my mind. Cool. I appreciate it. So, the way I think about things, I think slow over time. And, when I look at what's happening right now, it's very reminiscent. I'm giving a hint of my age, but, with every iteration of technology, it's presented like it's going to be. And by the way, I'm like so down with they started through NFTs, but I'm cautious. I'm cautious at least. So my question is, with every new technology, there's promise, like whether it's social media and Facebook, it's going to connect the world. Even the iPhone was built off of Linux. So things start out being open in these like GitHub type of sharing spaces, and then people lock them down. And I wonder what you guys think of the risk of that lockdown, or what we can do to ensure that it stays more free and
That's
decent.
I love that point, and I love where you're going with that. But that is the beauty of blockchain and the beauty of tokenization, right? Because essentially it begs the question of, you look at UniSwap, you look at SushiSwap, you look at the MakerDAO, you look at all these big cryptocurrency platforms that are worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, and more than half of them, the majority of them, are open source. And the reason why is because of the incentive that comes with tokenization. It's part of the beauty of the blockchain. It's like handing out early shares for contributing to this open source development. So, it begs the question of, why not stay open source? Because it brings developers into the window, so you can create an ecosystem like Uniswap and SushiSwap and MakerDAO, etc., that can live on for the rest of time, that can always stay innovative, that can always stay on top of their game, and they reward people for creating this more innovative technology and bringing it forward in their cryptocurrency. It's like rewarding them in shares of the company for the rest of time. And that's the beauty of tokenization. So I think we're always going to be in that open space. And, that I will stuff blockchain down people's throats for the rest of my life. I don't even have any US dollars because it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a world changer. And right now, sure, it starts with finance and financial institutions and all these things, but that's where every technological revolution starts. We start in the financial revolution. Now we're getting into the cultural revolution with NFTs, and we're going to keep expanding, so on and so forth. So I think it's always going to be in an open state, and that's blockchain is about transparency and decentralization.
I'm just going to jump in now. I've been waiting for a little bit.
Yeah, Chris has had his hand up for a while now, so I want to make sure we get to everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate it. There's a lot of talk about education and getting developers up to speed building blockchain applications. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that there's a development platform that I'm the CEO of called Reach, that we now have over 2,700 developers. That is a programming language, a compiler, and a deployment tool that is a higher level language that's more similar to JavaScript, that is much faster and much easier to write. And plus, through the compilation process, we do a thing called formal verification to mathematically guarantee that the code that is written is going to do exactly as what the developer expects in all potential realities. So, like I said, we have lots of people that have built things on it. We ourselves are launching a DEX soon. There's a decentralized stablecoin, and really the main thing here is to bring the tens of millions of developers that know how to build web applications, mobile applications to the blockchain space. And so far, we've been pretty successful.
And I don't know if someone else had their hand up before. Victoria, if so, speak. But otherwise, Victoria, go for it. And thank
Hey
you, Chris.
guys. Oh, sorry. Someone else had something, Chris?
No, I just said, and thank you, Chris, for your words and your patience. What's up, Victoria?
No problem.
Happy to see you.
Hello. Chris, that sounds really good. I'm gonna definitely look into it. I'm trying to look into languages or programs that are kind of easy for creators to develop on. So recently, like just last week, I saw Near Protocol and it seems really easy to consume. Like I could do some front end stuff. So for me, I can kind of consume it and I'm trying to learn it. But if there's anything else that people would recommend, or also any thoughts on Near Protocol that they can say, you know, before I like kind of delve into it a little bit more. But I'm definitely going to check out Reach as well.
Which protocol?
Near.
Near Protocol.
And just want to let you know that Reach is blockchain agnostic. It's not an actual protocol itself. It allows you to compile to Ethereum or Algorand or Conflux, and we're adding more and more. So you don't have to actually learn the different languages. You can just learn the one and just decide where you want to launch based off a configuration change.
Chris, does it essentially just translate your code into Solidity, for example, if you want to deploy an ETH?
It doesn't actually translate it because it's a higher level of abstraction. It does more than just output the actual contract. That's part of what it outputs, but it also outputs the back end of the client and then guarantees that the communication between the two is exactly as you expect as well. So all you have to do as a developer is build the interface and then write the Reach application, and the Reach compiler outputs all of the moving pieces to make sure that it does what you want.
Thank you. I appreciate
And Chris,
it.
is this also for non-EVM chains too?
Yeah, so right now we output EVM, but we also output to Algorand. The next chain that we received a grant to build a proof of concept for was Cosmos, and the one after that will most likely be Cardano. So the goal is that that's give you like a real world use case to how much easier it is. We're building a DEX, and the pool code in Reach is 270 lines of code. You compare that to 2,000 to 3,000 lines of code if you actually wrote it in Solidity. So it's much, much easier, faster, safer.
Well, that you're saying 2,000 lines of code with the libraries in Solidity for DEX? Because I know I could create a DEX in Solidity in much less than 2,000.
But what you have to do is you have to do template-driven development, meaning that you have to do pretty much exactly what the templates do. But what this does is allows you to be much more bespoke, to actually build custom code that does what you want to do without having to fit it into a certain template.
I'll have to look into it. Thank you, Chris. It sounds great.
Yeah, no problem.
What up, Jack? See you in the audience. But I think Corpy was next, and then NYC NFT.
Yeah, hey guys, what's
And
up?
then GDM, what's up, Corpy?
Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. So currently, I'm writing a script and stuff for a game that I'm trying to develop, and I just want to know what would be the first thing that I should do. I'm just trying to get ideas. Should I pick the chain that I want to do the game on, or should I just start stacking coins for it, or should I start looking for developers to help me with the game idea?
I think a huge part is whenever you're creating any type of project, you kind of want to lay everything out first. You know, do your research on similar protocols or projects and try to figure out the structure of it, because your developer won't necessarily be, coming up with the structure for you. You may be like, hey, I want to create this game with this outcome and have X cryptocurrency with it. But, that's not going to help any developer. You have to kind of figure out exactly where you want your structure, where do you want fees, how do you want your protocol to work exactly, research similar technology.
And do big research on the devs too. Do big research on the devs because a lot of them are shady and taking advantage.
the best thing you can do is find a developer who's genuinely interested in your project and the outcome of your project. Coming into space is a great place to start because it helps you make meaningful connections with people. You want a developer, ideally, that's going to be invested in your project. You want them to build something of quality, and then the best thing you can do is have them take a cut of whatever team tokens or whatever it is, because they're genuinely invested in the outcome of the project.
Okay, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was going to think of just fully roadmap it, fully do the tokenomics, and fully flesh everything out. So when I get it, everybody could just go off the idea, and it'd be simpler for people and simpler for me to just roadmap it. Because I'm envisioning. And so another question is part of the same question. Do you? And it has to do with our project too. Do you feel like because we all know what DAOs are going to do. We all know that these are becoming hedge funds. We all know these are just going to be large investment pools that we're all able to add ideas and just grow as a community and pick projects that we love. And these are the eventual hedge funds, mutual funds, and all of this stuff. It's already DeFi. Everything is there. We're the last piece that is tied together. How do you feel like the potential of certain projects of like a voting system for DAOs is going to be for the next year going on? Because a lot of DAOs I'm in, everybody has a different way they want to do the voting systems. How do you envision a future where that'll be? Just how I get an idea to talk to other people.
That's a great question, Corpy. And I think the problem is right now that a lot of DAOs aren't really DAOs. I was discussing this in the last space, but there are very few on-chain DAOs in existence. There isn't a single one, an NFT project today, at least that I'm aware of. The way any project works, like I'll give an example, the Pixel Vault DAO that they're creating, or the Ape Casino one, I forget what it's called. But the way all these work is essentially you have a multi-sig wallet, which is a wallet address that's controlled by multiple wallet addresses. And what they're doing their setup as is a snapshot with multi-sig. And the way it works is the community essentially elects 5 people or so to control this multi-sig wallet, which means these 5 individuals have control over all the money in this wallet, all their funds, all their decision making, all their contracts, everything. And then there's a snapshot on the side. So essentially, the heads of the project or the heads of the community make proposals, and they say, hey, you guys have option X, Y, and Z, and you get to vote. And if everyone votes for option X, it's not automatically executed like it should be. But the central side of things is these people that control this multi-sig wallet have to execute it on their own. So in theory, these 3 out of these 5 individuals could be malicious at some point in time, and there's nothing the community could do. They have control over the full protocol. It's not a DAO. None of these protocols or projects have a real DAO. A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. And the way for a decentralized autonomous organization to truly work and exist is to be 100% on chain. So what that means is anyone could create a proposal, and when the proposal is executed, it's automatically executed on chain. So let's say the proposal is, let's send to Ethereum to this artist to create this artwork for us. Well, if the community votes on it and agrees to it, the majority of individuals, then it should be automatically executed on chain. So the money is, as soon as the vote comes to a close, the money is instantly sent to that wallet address. Another example could be like, let's implement this update in our code. And, if the majority of individuals agree to it and it's approved, then it's instantly executed and implemented into the blockchain. Its X code is essentially sent and integrated with their smart contract, or it's a new smart contract deployed to the DAO or whatever it is. But that's the missing link currently in these projects and protocols. And that's the problem that people have to get around in the first place, because they're still centralized. Those community members they elect, well, if you want to replace one of them, if they're malicious, then the other members that have already been elected have to replace them, the other members of this multi-sig wallet.
Hey, so I have a question on this. You were talking about, like, for example, DAOs paying like artist contracts and all that stuff on chain. So to understand how that worked, there'd be like a contract that DAO members vote on, and then would, like, the artist, for example, get a contract that they could then sign, and then from that, like, let's say they have like a token address, and like the artist would upload that. I'm thinking of like 50-50 splits or something. So like you get 50% before, 50% after.
That's a great question. And I know exactly where you're going here. And, that's
wow,
a problem.
y'all talking about some good shit right now.
Yeah, well, that's a problem in the industry right now because everything's so finite, right? If you exchange something, then it's gone, right? If you send Ethereum to this artist, they don't send you the art back. Well, they got their Ethereum. That's it. And that's why at Solon we're creating rentable NFTs. So essentially, the way it'll work is you're essentially creating an employment contract, and when the artist delivers their work, they essentially send their hash to a certain smart contract, then they automatically receive the payment when the work is delivered. And this is all being done through rentable NFTs. And that's the big missing link in DeFi right now, and also in the NFT industry, right? For people in the real world, in the general space, the general public to understand why NFTs have value, they need to be rentable. That's the missing link we need to deliver, and that's what we're delivering here, because we want to see NFTs as tickets to venues. Well, what good is a ticket to a venue if you're not going to make it to the venue and you can't rent it out or sell it or do all these other things, right? If you're a season ticket holder, you want to be able to rent it out for times you're not going to be there. If you're a VFriends NFT holder, you want to be able to rent it out for each VCon you're not going to be able to make it to. And in my opinion, that's the missing link, and it solves so many of these issues. And that's what we're trying to bring here.
Yeah, that's actually such a big deal.
I am pumped to see what you guys do, CJ. NYC, you had your hand up for a while. What's good, man?
Hey, yeah. I was just thinking, and I'm sending a DM.
And then
to CJ.
GDM, I got you next.
I'm sending a DM to CJ right now to see if he wants to talk about it or keep it a little bit more private. I just had a little bit of an idea, so I just wanted to get it out there. But I'm sending a DM.
It's up to Alex. Alex is the host of the space. So send it to him, and he'll let you know. Thank you, man.
All right, yeah, no problem.
Word. NYC, if you had anything else to say, go for it. Otherwise, just a quick reset. Just hanging out Sunday evening, trying to relax. Anyone that wants to come up and talk about crypto or just what they did this weekend, whatever, feel free to. Really appreciate all the speakers up here. Definitely give everyone up here a follow. They all got gems to drop. GDM, what's up?
I have a more sort of serious conversation point, but could I pin up my Solana series that got sold out this week?
Go for it, dude.
Hell yeah. I'm just really happy because this is the first thing that I've...
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, boy. I was just super hyped because, so I don't know if y'all are big on Solana, but the actual, process of making something on Solana as an individual artist is pretty trash right now. So this is something that I'm sort of passionate about and have been talking with people in the Solana ecosystem. Anyways, so my more broad point is, what DAOs do y'all know that are sort of actually worth their salt? What DAOs are sort of established and are doing things? And I know that there are certain PFP collections, for example, that have them.
Only NFTs or in the crypto space as well?
Specifically with art-related NFTs, because that's sort of my main interest. But if there are sort of larger crypto DAOs that are doing interesting things, I'd love to hear about them.
I mean, the Maker DAO is a really good example of an on-chain DAO, although they do have issues they have to work out because they're entirely based on tokenized governance, and that introduces the problem of, whales being able to do malicious actions. And that's another thing we're trying to solve, but that's another story for another time. But to be honest with you, there's no NFT project out there that has a real DAO. They're all claiming to have DAOs as a marketing thing. Let's be real. But none of them have an actual decentralized, autonomous organization. What I was mentioning to you before is what they do is the mix of Snapshot and a multi-sig wallet. Well, that's a centralized interaction right there, right? Because you need at least 3 out of these 5 people, which is just an example. It could be any number of people, to approve and actually make that vote happen after the people agree to it. While in reality, it should be automatically executed when the people vote for something.
Would you call what Pixel Vault is building a DAO, or would you call that something else?
So it's interesting, John, because I was talking to Beanie about this recently, and he did bring up an interesting point. But it's not a DAO. It's not a DAO whatsoever. But what Beanie's point was is, hey, these are trusted members of the community, and at this point in time, this is kind of the standard to do in the NFT industry, which he's not wrong. But Do you want to be doing the standard, or do you want to be innovating in the industry? Do you want to be creating real decentralization like the blockchain is meant to do? Or do you want to be trusting in these 5 individuals that, sure, you may know in your Discord, they may be great friends of yours, but to new people coming into the space or into your project or into your protocol, they might not know them whatsoever. And there's still that human interaction. It's not decentralized. It's not autonomous. It is an organization, but it's still centralized. And that's the problem there. Although, sure, these members of the Pixel Vault DAO, quote unquote, that are being elected to hold the keys to the DAO, the multi-sig, they're elected members of the community. But in theory, if the majority of them went AWOL, that'd be it. They could snatch up all the money in the DAO and all of its assets, and that's it for every member of the Pixel Vault.
So could you explain kind of with Solon, your and Ben's role in the project once it's a full DAO?
Yes, so that's a great question. So we want to make everything look like, and we want to run everything like we're completely decentralized. So like even Uniswap, for example, had team tokens that they gave to their developers for free. Like even Ben and I will be buying our own supply of the cryptocurrency, but we want to set things up so it's like on a level where everyone is equal, where everyone can contribute, where everyone can get paid equally and fairly for their work. And that's the kind of system we're trying to create here. So our DAO is a full, complete on-chain DAO with an off-chain and on-chain interaction. Basically, the way it works is we wanted to create a system where obviously our cryptocurrency had value and voting power, but we didn't want it to be the case where if someone owned the majority of the cryptocurrency, you would have whales making all the decisions that wouldn't necessarily be in the interest of the majority of individuals. So the way it works is everything starts in the off-chain. And what that means is every single individual person, every individual has one vote. And it's like a Reddit-like voting system. Anyone can create a post, and it has upvotes and downvotes. And every one person can only vote on it once, and anyone can make a proposal. This way, if the majority of individuals agree to something, then it moves to the on-chain voting platform, and that's the only way it can get there, where it's then voted on by the token holders. This way, something can only be implemented, can only be executed by the DAO if the majority of individuals agree to it first. And then Ben and I will always be contributing. What we're doing is we're building the protocol, we're building the entire ecosystem and everything, and we're releasing it as a fully completed product with the DAO and the cryptocurrency and everything at the same time. And then from there on out, it's completely open source. Anyone can contribute to it. We'll be contributing for the rest of our life.
This is going to be such a wild ride, dude.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Such a wild ride. Because I was just thinking, I was like, well, what's going to happen? I was kind of like worrying a little bit about too many proposals, like too many things coming up for a vote. But I think you answered my question when you said a majority of individuals. So what I hear from that is like if somebody puts out a proposal and maybe there's a time limit for how long they sit there for votes or whatever, but and let's say it just gets a handful of votes either way total. Like definitely people are not paying attention to this proposal. Does that just mean it's kind of like it's dead because it has to be
it'll never make it. It has to reach a minimum threshold essentially to make it to the top.
Gotcha. Now, will there be like a time limit on that to reach it, or will a vote just sit there indefinitely?
We'll have some sort of time limit in place. Essentially, I think we're doing a 1 week period. Anyone can propose something, and then everyone has 1 week to vote on it. But I mean, these numbers can be decided by the community. We're going to let you guys decide these timeframes at the end of the day, because like I said, we want the project to be as decentralized as possible. We'll create everything, we'll bring all the code forward and everything like that. But all these variables are going to be up to you guys as a community. It's up to you guys how long you think people should have to vote. How long do you think a vote should? We have 3 phases. How long a vote is discussed for when it's initially proposed after it passes the off-chain, how long people have to vote on it, which is another phase, and then the last phase is how long before it's implemented. That way, if you're an individual who disagrees with the vote, you have time to withdraw your money and sell your cryptocurrency before the vote is actually executed on-chain after it passes.
I highly encourage everyone to hop into Solon's, CJ's, Crypto Genius's Discord and check out their project. Lots of great stuff there. Jeff, you had your hand up for mad long time.
Is that an ETH based project? What you were talking about? Is that all ETH based? The
Yeah,
NFT.
it's ETH, Polygon, and Arbitrum initially,
nice.
and then we're gonna go to a few other chains. We're working with another company called Orichain, and we're talking about also deploying on Cosmos, Binance Blockchain. We're not going to do Solana anytime soon, at least, because to us, they're just too centralized. And
Right.
we don't have the ability to, we want to be a DAO. We want this decentralized autonomous organization, and all of our voting is going to be on ETH mainnet. And the problem is, when a vote is executed on ETH, we need it to also be executed on all these other chains for it to be truly decentralized and autonomous. So Solana doesn't give us that capabilities at the moment too, which is another problem.
So the NFT rental, is that a separate project?
No, it's part of all this is the same project. This is a new type of decentralized exchange, an NFT, decentralized NFT marketplace with 0% fees. That way artists can have a lot more money. Where the money is made for the protocol is on the decentralized exchange side. These rentable NFTs, fractional. We have fractional rentable buying and selling NFTs and mortgageable NFTs. Every time you buy or sell a fractional NFT, it's actually represented by a cryptocurrency. So that's a trade through a decentralized exchange. That's where money's made. And every time you convert your ETH to wrapped Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency to Ethereum, like you would normally do through UniSwap, and you pay the fees to UniSwap, you pay through our decentralized exchange instead. And this is why we can have a 0% fee on our marketplace. And it gives room for artists to make more money off their collections.
So you're going to wrap it. And then, like, for example, if I want to rent your PFP, like that would cost me X amount. And what would the cost be associated with that? Like, give me an example if you could.
Yeah, Jeff, that's a great question. So basically, the way it works is you can turn in our ecosystem, you can turn any NFT into a rentable NFT, any NFT in existence, and essentially you're renting out the utility attached to it. If you come into our Discord, we have like a picture model that makes it a lot simpler. It's visual to understand how the rental function itself works, but essentially the only fee is the cost of the rental itself. So the user that owns this NFT will say, "Hey, I'm putting my NFT up for rent," and they'll say, "I'm willing to rent it between this whole range of timeframes." And you come in and say, "Hey, I'll rent it between this time and this time for this amount," and then they can hit you with a counter offer, and then you essentially come to an agreement, and it's executed, and the person renting it out gets the entire sum of that cash. We don't take any of the money.
What up, Ed?
That's amazing.
Sassy, I'm glad you came back. I saw you drop down for a minute.
What's good, y'all? I legit just came in. It was weird. I came in thinking I was going to be a listener, and God wanted me on the stage with y'all, so I'm here.
Oh, you don't have to call me God, Ed.
I ain't calling you God. I'm just saying that God made it happen. What we talking about?
We're just hanging out. It's just Sunday.
On a Sunday. Okay, so did we talk about the Metaverse already?
Just about some of like the analytics that what Top Hat did. Well, you have some thoughts? Sassy does.
I mean, well, okay, Sassy, go first.
What's up, Sassy? How's it going?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you for the invite. Okay, good. I'm like outside going to my job because I'm an events curator, so I have to run a theater. So I'm just doing that. So I'll be listening mostly. That's kind of why I was dropping down. But then you kept inviting me up. I was like, that's so nice. But I'm not getting rugged. I'm just like on the train. So yeah, I appreciate and I just listening and learning, and that's kind of where I'm at today. But it's really interesting to hear about NFT rentals, and swear everything changes like every second here. So just interested to hear like the possibilities and what people are working on, and how that goes. So excited about this space and what y'all are working on. So I will go back on quiet, and then I might just boogie back down to listener. But thanks for the invite.
And fuck Club, right?
Shout out to Sassy. We love you, Sassy. Sassy Black. But yeah, so so my head's all over the place. One, how do we feel about Coinbase actually coming into the ecosystem?
Yeah, I want to ask.
CJ, let me hear what some other people have to say, because I know you got thoughts on this and they're fire.
Because it's really giving I don't know. I'm just like, damn. I just don't trust anybody. I don't trust any corporate, anyone that's big. I don't trust y'all because I've seen y'all. I know how you guys are. You guys had times before to be better and you guys never were better. And now you're coming back into this ecosystem, which, I'm seeing myself doing better without you. And yes, there are some things I understand, like, there's learning curves and, there's things that I have to learn. And it's taken a while, but I'm going to get it without y'all. But now y'all want to come in here, and I'm afraid. And I know it's not for my benefit. I know them being in this ecosystem is not to help me. So I'm just.
I think it is. I think it is, man. I think it does help. It's even
Okay,
more
so
publicity on because Coinbase is so popular. It's like Walmart. So we got like a new Walmart moving in. We're shopping at Target at OpenSea, right? Now Walmart's moving in. They
okay,
want to take over. So, it's giving like people like, oh shoot, groceries at a lower price. So people are gonna come, they're gonna get their groceries, you know.
so this is what it is for me though.
But
Like I I agree
my
with
fault.
that,
I just want to say I do understand what you were saying before
but
though
I
with the
also agree with what
corporation
you're
because
saying though.
Coinbase has a stock.
I,
It's public, it's super centralized.
but I
OpenSea is
also agree
less.
with what you're saying though. But my issue is more so of like, how do we make sure that they act the way that we want them to, right? Because we have that power in the sense of making sure that the community stays. Or no, or do we not? Once they're in here, it's not really up to us. Is that what we're saying?
I think they have their own massive marketplace, and the market
Yeah.
will eventually decide. I don't, it's if the most impactful, important NFTs are NFTs that have migrated from this space that we all know and love, and those are the ones that are the most impactful and important NFTs on Coinbase. If Coinbase messes around, you better believe that there's going to be backlash from this community and people pulling their art from their platform or whatever. But I really think that it could be beneficial for them and the artists as well.
It's only beneficial if they are
But
willing to like.
But did that happen to OpenSea? We all know OpenSea is guilty of a lot of goddamn like frivolous and malicious things. So did that happen to OpenSea when they were guilty of the several charges that themselves were guilty of? And before you answer that question, I want to ask: are we here talking about the brownies, or are we here talking about the recipes?
See, this is why decentralization is important. The people need to decide everything, and that gets rid of the insider trading factor at all. I'm actually talking to someone at Coinbase on Monday, and from the way I understand things is Coinbase, this is just going off my own intuition, is Coinbase is going to run their NFT market the same way they run their cryptocurrency market. They handpick cryptocurrencies to be listed on their exchange. And the reason they do that is to protect themselves from any liability because they are listed on the New York Stock Exchange and they don't want pissed off customers. Everyone who runs through Coinbase, for the most part, a lot of them are very new into crypto. Most of their holdings just tend to be Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe some few other altcoins. And what we're going to see here is Coinbase is going to handpick collections. OpenSea, you can have just about any collection on OpenSea. Coinbase is going to come in and pick the winner blue chip collections. They're going to pick apes. They're going to pick punks. They're going to pick mutants. They're going to pick the Pixel Vault, etc. And that's going to be it. And it's going to bring 68 million people's attention directly to these collections. Now, if that's not going to make these collections moon, I don't know what will. When you consider there's only 200,000 people in the NFT marketplace right now, and then eventually this is going to get people. It's going to peg people's interest because obviously the barrier to entry on a lot of these collections is just it's going to be too high for the
Yeah, I want to ask you about the fees.
And then we're going to get over to the OpenSea side. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, the fees related to like something you're doing for NFT rentals, like from beginning to end. If I want to rent your, like going back to what you were saying, is like if I want to rent your thing for an hour or a day, like what's the associated fee? And then something on OpenSea and now compared to Coinbase, what are the fees going to look like? Because I feel like this
Jeff,
is the biggest barrier.
There's a 0% fee. So the only fee is a gas fee, like your normal fee that you pay to Ethereum miners. But by then, hopefully, ETH will be proof of stake.
Right, but again, this is the point of friction that I find that people, I feel like it's baked in. I feel like that gas fee right there, that's not a normal thing for people coming in fresh. I kind of feel like we're all in our bubble, like our NFT bubble, and we're comfortable with that. But I feel like somebody coming in from new, the outside, they're going to say, gas and mint fee, what is that? They just want the NFT straight up. You know what I mean?
There will be no gas fees on Coinbase. You can believe that.
Yeah, John is right, because they work off what's known as the order book model. You know, it's going to be just like their cryptocurrency. Essentially, the way it works is they hold every single coin in Coinbase in a few different wallet addresses. And if you want to sell $1,000 with Ethereum, and someone else on the other side of the world wants to buy $1,000 of Ethereum, they just write in your account minus 1,000 in their account plus 1,000. They don't
The
actually
paper
move
trade,
it.
right?
It stays in those wallets. Yeah, and this is why Coinbase can charge their fees and make money, because they don't have to pay gas fees. They don't have to pay transaction
Right.
fees.
It's
They're
not
going
on
to
the
do the same
blockchain.
thing with
It's just
NFTs.
for
Yep.
sure. Yeah, I mean, this happened with us. This happened with us last week. Binance and Algorand, they held all of the Algorand in reserve because they had 30% bonus interest if they would have taken it off the exchange. So it was a really big hiccup last week. And I just want to say that for NFTs, and the innovators, the first mover advantage is to ETH, the adoption curve where everybody is. It's the highest, most valuable projects. They're the best right now. Respect to ETH, and that's the main thing. They're the innovators. But I feel like, again, the cost of doing business, the transactions, it's just baked in, and that's concerning. I feel like NFTs need to be like an Amazon. There needs to be a click buy now option like an Amazon, and that's what Coinbase is going to do for NFTs. You know, we just have
Jeff,
to
that's what I'm doing.
right.
So I'm bringing a hardware, because the problem is in DeFi, right? Like in OpenSea, you got to download a MetaMask, you got to copy and paste your wallet address, you got to do all this pain in the ass shit. What I'm doing is we're creating a hardware product that is going to work on a printer and ink similar model. It's going to be cheap as shit, so it's accessible by everyone around the world. And all you do is you scroll through our marketplace, you select the NFT you want to buy, you tap your credit card, that's it. You own it. That's all you got to do. Same thing with cryptocurrency. And it's the same thing with investing too. You can go through our pools and invest with the best cryptocurrency investors, the best liquidity providers, the best NFT collectors, and essentially copy their trades. And you don't need to know anything about cryptocurrency. You go through, you select the one with the best annual percent return, you click it, you say how much you want to put in your local currency, you tap your card, that's it. You know, we got to get rid of this educational barrier to entry. That's the problem right now. Like, and we see it all over the place with artists creating NFT collections, right? If you want to create your own NFT collection, you got to pay X amount of money for a Solidity developer, or you got to know someone to create a minting contract.
I agree.
Or you got to teach yourself. But the problem is, a lot of these people, aren't coders, they aren't developers, and they can't get into that side. We need to make these things more accessible, and that's why we're also doing like a make your own minting contract, because for us it's just plugging in a few variables. We already have the code. Why can't we just spit out a minting contract for people easily? They just have to plug in variables and attach their database, and that's it. Free. It shouldn't be this hard for people.
Yeah. You know what Corpy was saying about his project, how it was costing X, Y, and Z? I feel like there's a big contrast. I come from like the Algorand NFT community, and there's zero mint, there's zero gas, and people are just starting from nothing and building communities. It just works. It's a totally different dynamic. It's very organic. People are in and out of the ecosystem, and it's frictionless. You know what I mean? And they build traction, and they start building, they go and they start. And it just like, that's how I feel like if you want sustainable growth from 5 million NFT holders to 1 billion, it has to be frictionless, like you said.
Yeah, hi guys, excuse me. Just about what you said now, my friend, I am agree with you that it would be much easier, but the advantage that when you buy on the block is that you can check the history of this NFT. How you gonna do on your purpose then?
You're still buying. It's a direct read write to the blockchain. Actually, this hardware device. So you're still buying through a decentralized marketplace. It's still in your wallet address. Your wallet address is actually just built into the device. So as soon as you set the device up, it can read your wallet address. This is why you as a user don't need to input it everywhere, because the device itself that you're holding in hand already knows what your wallet address is.
No, I know, but what if I want to see the restaurability of the NFT? So the history of the NFT, for how much he was being sold, for, etc.
That's a great question. We'll have all that data in our marketplace. It'll be on like a user interface side. So you'll be able to click your NFT and you can scroll down and see, the trade history and price history and all these things. Because, normal people also don't know how to read Etherscan either. And that's a whole nother problem.
Yeah. Man,
No, I want to reset for a second. Appreciate the new people jumping in, people requesting to be speakers. I want to make sure we get to you guys. NYC NFT, been waiting for a mad long time too. There was someone else who had their hand up for a while, and I think that they left the room entirely. But what's up, NYC?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm patient, so it's no problem. But just to touch on what we were saying about with Coinbase coming into the NFT space, how I'm thinking of it, and please correct my logic if it seems a little bit off. But how I'm thinking of it is right now there's only like 400,000 wallets, and some of those are 100% duplicates. So we can assume that there's probably 250,000 people only in the world that own NFTs. And then you have a marketplace like Coinbase that has 70 million users. So if 10% of those people even start dibbling and dabbling into NFTs, I mean, we all know that this shit is addictive. You know what I'm saying? Like NFTs themselves are enticing. They're addictive. You want more. You want the next thing. All of that. Like how CJ was saying, these things are going to boom. It's just a matter of, in my opinion, like if your project makes it onto Coinbase and what the process of potentially getting your project on Coinbase might be, because like not everybody and probably 90% of the world can't afford something like a mutant ape, even let alone a bored ape. You know what I'm saying? So until like fractionalizing becomes a little bit more legit, I guess, those things are out of reach for almost everybody. But just the volume of people on Coinbase, I think, is gonna propel the whole NFT world into a different dimension.
I got to follow up on that. I had two thoughts. Excellent thoughts, NYC NFT. My first thought was prices for NFTs are going to go way down because that's what you, in a sense, that's what you get on Amazon and eBay. Prices are down because there's higher competition. There's also high demand, which also can make it very lucrative for those that have the best selling, product. So that was my first thought. And then second thought was just to like reiterate what CJ said. There's going to be zero fees to rent an NFT through Solon. Like that, like I can't imagine going as a customer and being like, I want to use your service, and they're like, and I'm like, how much is it? And they're like, it's zero. Like that just doesn't sound realistic.
Yeah, I love Solon. I love what you guys are doing. CJ's way beyond his years in just, I guess, wisdom and brains in this space. But I'm super bullish on Solon, on the NFTs value themselves, on the tokens value when everything's official with that. That's one of my favorite projects. So I would suggest everybody go follow them on Twitter, hop into Discord, and do a little research on it, and maybe dibble and dabble yourself, because I think there's a lot of big things coming with this project.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
What do you guys think about that? About the price action once Coinbase is rocking and rolling? What do you think that'll do to prices? What do you think that'll do to competition? Do you agree with what I said, or like do you see it differently?
John, I think you raise a very, very interesting and important point in the fact that the collections that Coinbase is going to want to be on there are going to just be too fucking expensive for the average person. So the question is, what are they going to do? I mean, they can't do fractionalization unless they start getting into DeFi, and that's a regulatory issue for them, right? Because they need liquidity pools, and they don't even have liquidity pools currently. So that it's a whole nother weird aspect of they're going to have to get these smaller collections on there that they're going to have to vet the shit out of if they want to, have that trading volume for their marketplace. Or maybe they just see it as a niche market for them to make more money. I don't know. What's up, Bugsy?
What's up, guys? So I'm all for the whole Coinbase scenario here. I think it's a good thing, but I'm just going to play the devil's advocate because that's the way my mind works, and just throw a curveball out there. What are your thoughts on if Coinbase brings too many people in too fast and it ends up putting too many eyes on what we're doing before we've established what we're doing? Therefore,
that's a bubble, Bugsy.
Yeah. So, and then like, what if they create something where you can go on there just as you can OpenSea and mint your own NFTs, and then all of a sudden Coinbase just becomes this powerhouse and everyone seems to think that centralized is the better way? Like, how do we prevent that?
Well, they can't do that in the first place because of regulatory issues. They'd never be able to do that. They got to cover their own ass. That's what they care about at the end of the day. They're already being shoved. They're already like on the SEC has their shoe on Coinbase's foot, so to speak. Like they could never do anything like that. That's why they're going to select NFT collections just like they select their cryptocurrencies. There's only like 100 cryptocurrencies on Coinbase, and everyone they've hand selected. They'll do the same thing for NFT collections just to protect their own ass. They have shareholders, they're a centralized company, and that's the problem. That's always going to be the difference from centralized versus decentralized. What's up, Mac? How's it going? It's good to see you.
What's going on?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming up on the stage. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
I'm
sitting outside of Bright Moments. I don't know how many folks have been yet, but they are opening a gallery in New York. There's an event going on. I think the first official mint is happening on the 20th. So they're going to be here for NFT NYC.
Yeah, who else is going to NFT NYC?
I am.
Adjacent events, even if I know the tickets are like dumb expensive, but I know a lot of people are just going to be in the city around that time and hit up some of like the after parties. And
are they still for sale, or are they just reselling?
I think
there's not even a resale market. It's weird.
The waiting list opened up now. I think they're selling tickets there.
I honestly don't know anybody who bought an actual ticket, like not a single person. That's
hilarious.
That isn't associated, right? Like I know a couple people who are like doing events within it, but I don't know anybody who bought a ticket to it, and I don't think you need to. There's so many satellite events and talks and things.
Yeah, you could probably sit outside and meet way cooler people.
I'm going for all the satellite events.
That's how I do it.
Can we right click and copy a ticket?
I bought the ticket too, but I'm going for the satellite events. Alex, did you get a ticket?
No, I didn't buy a ticket, but I'm definitely going for the satellite events. And I was just talking with someone over there, and I think I'm probably going to be volunteering at the events. And then,
sweet. I'll see you on the train.
Be there. Yeah, I'm not taking a fucking train there, dude.
Why not? Yo, the train from Boston is so easy. It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, plane is quicker though.
Yeah, but once you gotta like get to the airport, then you're waiting around for an hour, then you hop on a plane, then you feel disgusting. You pull up to New York, and then the airport in New York City is outside the city. Then you got to pull up. By the time you do all that shit, it's over 4 hours.
Nah, bro, I fly private. No, just kidding. I'm probably just gonna drive.
Can I ask Bugsy what was his question about? Where would the bad taste come from for Coinbase users? I'm just curious what Bugsy meant by that.
I think he means like if they get a crap project. Is that what you're talking about, Bugsy?
No, I'm curious as far as like what I said with them bringing too many people in. Is that what you're talking about, Jeff?
Well, I'm trying to say, like, do you feel like there's going to be like because of gas fees, or what is the friction going to be like? Where would people?
So I'm pretty sure they just did something with Polygon today where they're going to use their scaling solution, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I just read that somewhere. But
so Coinbase doesn't actually do any trades unless it's leaving your account, in which you pay the fee anyway, and they don't pay it because they work on that order book model. I was mentioning it a bit earlier, but they essentially hold everyone's cryptocurrency in just a handful of wallet addresses, and they'll do the same thing with NFTs. And in their servers, they mark the trades between individuals.
So, like, how do you think that people are going to get over to the decentralized side once they're introduced to the centralized side? Like,
it's going to be the same thing as it is with Coinbase and cryptocurrency. People are going to be like, hey, I want to be able to buy, before Shiba Inu was available on Coinbase, for example, I want to be able to buy SHIB. I want to be able to buy these meme coins. I want to get more involved in DeFi. I did this research. It's the same reason why we all got there. It's going to be, hey, I'm going to transfer this NFT to my DeFi address instead of keeping it in my Coinbase.
Right. Yeah, I just started using TinyMan Dex. It's amazing. There's zero fees. It's just crazy how efficient it is.
Yeah, CJ, we talked about this before in one of your rooms. And I don't know, I'm not entirely confident that it's going to be as gate kept as regular Coinbase. I mean, from the description on their blog post and from a couple of conversations with people like working in the adjacent project, it seems like it might be like just pretty similar to what the OpenSeas are doing, with it just being like a peer-to-peer, relatively decentralized marketplace. But we shall see.
But they can't do decentralized stuff because it hurts them regulatory. I'm meeting with one of the guys at Coinbase on Monday, so I'm gonna straight up ask him. So I'll let you guys know.
Yes, please do. Very interested to see what this looks like. Either way, new entrance to the space, I'm for it.
Hey, so I was just thinking of a potential like another negative side of Coinbase in the NFT space. So what if, let's say, they come in and they just buy all of the NFTs in certain collections? Because as much as they can do that, like they have enough money to do that. That's not good to have one person, you know what I mean, holding every single NFT of a collection, right?
Yeah, it'd rug the collection because it'd have, for something that has value, it has to have demand by individuals. And if the entire supply is owned by a single individual, well, you're not going to really have many people outside that market wanting to be a part of it.
I mean, isn't that go back to like people look at it, is it NFT? Is it utility? Is it art? Is it community? That's a different like conversation, But I don't think if they buy a whole entire collection, there's no community. It doesn't have any value. Some people look at it that way.
Yeah, that's how I would look at it, and that's obviously not a good thing if you get your collection onto Coinbase. That it ultimately makes it a bad thing.
Yeah, and going back to what I was saying earlier, like in Algorand, there was no blue chip. I don't want to say blue chip. That's like a weird way to say it, but there was no blue chip project until Algoanas came along, kind of, and they raised $20,000. I mean, one person bought one NFT for $20,000 last week, and instead of gas fees and whatever else, like they just planted 7,000 trees. And that's interesting when they have like a carbon neutral, like proof of stake chain. It's like you can do some crazy shit, It's a game changer.
Wait, Jeff, what was the name of that project that did that?
I linked it above. It's called Algoanas.
And I spoke to the Climate DAO and like that it's launching a new stable coin and is also kind of doing carbon sequestration.
Yeah. It's funny. This week I randomly, my company, we kind of raise money for seed to Series A companies, not to like show, but it's like Startup Boost. And basically like I spoke to 3 Bored Apes, like not related to anybody, 3 Bored Apes this week. Like they have like business people who fucking put their PFP as a Bored Ape. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, like I wasn't seeing this 3 months ago. You know what I mean? It's like a different game now. And like,
I see it on LinkedIn, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. A couple of guys on LinkedIn too. And it's like for me, like I'm aware of the space, but if people don't fucking know, they're like, what does this guy have a gorilla in his fucking profile picture? It's like weird. But like me, it's a status symbol. I understand it. It's a rank thing. You know what I mean? Other people, they don't get it.
At the same time, I guess it's so like funny. A community thing. Because for me, my Instagram picture is now like a punk. And for me, it's like, this is, no one understands it except for me. But to me, this is the embodiment of myself. And this
no, but
like
I took the call more seriously than I usually would. Let's put it like that. Like it, like my coworker, they're like, oh, what the fuck is that? I'm like, dude, like this is a good conversation. This is a good situation if you get into a conversation here. I don't know what else to say. That's the way I look at it. It was fun.
Yeah, it would spark up more interest in people saying, why does this person have this as their LinkedIn profile?
Right.
Picture? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I also wouldn't really want to work for somebody that doesn't know what a Bored Ape is.
Bugsy, what's up?
So I've got like 3 different questions, and I can either just kind of come out and throw them out there and ask them, or I can kind of take one at a time as keep coming up.
It's up to you, man.
So I read something.
Can I add something which I was saying?
Miner, where you kind of plug this thing in, and it does some interesting stuff, and you can earn that token for just having it plugged in the space. Yeah. So I was just curious thoughts on that, and then if you think there's ever going to be a need to insure NFTs, we're going to start to see some kind of like insurance companies popping up. So that way, if you were to ever be scammed or whatever, like I'm just curious if something like that's ever going to happen. And then, so renting the NFTs, like how are we going to prevent people from going out and renting an ape and then using that profile picture for the day to influence their own projects or try to gain followers or scam people? Like how are we going to step in the middle of that? Those are my
That's
3 questions.
The
that
Twitter verification.
great questions. That last one, I hate to say it, but as of right now, there's no way to do it. That's a great question. We'll have to think about it, and hopefully we can come up with something. But technically, if they're renting it out for that period, they can do whatever they want with it. Hence the ability to rent. A step back, the Helium network. Helium's very interesting. The way their miners work is they're extremely simple. Actually, most of the original ones ran off of Raspberry Pis, and essentially they're Wi-Fi network providers, like cell service almost. And you can set them up in regions, and they essentially mine in order to create a network which people can have a wireless network on top of, like an Internet of Things. So you can get cell service and have Helium as your go-to provider instead of having a Verizon or an AT&T or whatever you use for your Wi-Fi, and you pay monthly or whatever based on usage in Helium network tokens. And in exchange for setting up that Helium miner, that hotspot that expands the range, kind of like a miniature cell tower in your home, you get rewarded in Helium network tokens based on how much coverage you're providing. So it's a very interesting, very cool setup for kind of decentralizing internet service. But they kind of peaked themselves out because their hardware was selling for a stupid amount of money. It all sold out everywhere, and they've kind of I don't know how their future is going to look. It's been very interesting. They're definitely going to need to do some stuff to adapt because Starlink is also starting to roll out at the same time.
Yep.
Which, if you don't know what Starlink is, it's a satellite internet service created by Elon Musk. Now, I am personally not a big fan of Elon, just because I don't like billionaires. But I guess that's a me thing. But basically, Starlink is going to come out and essentially provide even cheaper internet access for everyone around the world and better speeds than Helium. So that's the problem they're working out there. But Helium actually just came out with Helium hotspots for 5G. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's a cool little market. I love what they're trying to do here. And decentralized internet is obviously amazing, and we all want to see
That's
it.
the thing is like, I just found out about it today. I read, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can make money doing this and that," and I'll try every get rich quick scheme in the book, and I've probably tried 90% of them. But like, is this something I jump into when we're evolving so quickly? You know what I mean?
But Bugsy, all
Can I
I'm
add
gonna
something?
say is an old lime. You're not gonna make any money doing a Helium.
I actually have I have a miner already, and I have 2 more coming. The funny thing about Helium is the people that founded it, they're hardware guys. So they had to create a blockchain for their hardware. So they're kind of backwards than what we're doing. So what their actual goal is, when everybody sets up the network, you're gonna get your Helium tokens are gonna turn into data credits. And your data credits are gonna be like the phone cards that you could sell back to T-Mobile and everything. So what they're actually doing with the token, when you get enough of it and when the network is fully flushed out, you can sell the data tokens back to people, and you can be your own decentralized hotspot. So I kind of tell people like, yo, like how we had Web 2.0, I was my own New York Times on my Facebook. I was my own blog. I was on this. With Helium, I'm my own internet. So their ambition is for everyone to just have their own internet. So one, you're gonna save fees just running your own internet. You don't have to go. I get to cut off the biggest cable company Spectrum and all of them. That's going to be the craziest decentralized, when I could cut off my Wi-Fi and I'm my own Wi-Fi. So they're actually, the Helium tokens that they're going to turn to data credits that you could sell back to people, and they have like every 2 years. So they're burning it so crazy that these credits, it's only $20 right now, like 22.16, because I stay on every number. Those credits are going to be worth so much because you're going to be able to sell them back when 5G, 6G, and everything comes.
So you see a future for this, in your opinion,
Yeah,
based on personal experience?
I listen to the
Corby,
founders. So the founder, he doesn't even do blockchain stuff. He's some Bill Gates type guy that just does hardware. They needed their hardware network because they're trying to be the Internet of Things to connect to everything. You're going to be able to run your Helium hotspot with your IoT refrigerator, your IoT car, everything in your house is going to run off your Helium network. So their plan is they just made a token to sell their hardware. What they really are is a hardware company with the Bobcat miners and everything. So they're
yeah,
building an
Corby, but
infrastructure and using us to build their T-Mobile.
But as an investment point of view, in my opinion, if you want your own secure network, go ahead, buy a helium miner. But as an investment point of view, it only makes sense if you're in a semi-densely populated area. Like I'm sure if you've got some miners going, you're in a city or at least close to one.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
I'm waiting to see Elon Musk do the same thing with the power bank, where he starts putting a miner into that thing. Because right now you could lose power for 7 days and have backup power for your whole house based on this damn power
Bugsy,
bank.
you could wire it in yourself.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. I could
I'll come
wire it
over.
into
I'll
the
come
system
over and
right
help.
now.
Yo, just want to reset real quick. Thanks everyone who's come up and speaking. Lots of great information being shared. I really appreciate all of the insights. I see we got some new speakers and some requesters as well. What up, Evan? How you doing, man? I don't know if you have something to say, but glad to have you here, bro.
What's going on, man? I just been hopping in and out, just listening to all the information and shit like that, just taking a lot of notes down. I'm still new to the space. For those who don't know, my name is Ibn Inglor. It rhymes with ribbon. I'm an artist from the far south side of Chicago, a place called Algale Gardens in the Wild Hunnets. I'm a rap artist. And just new to the space, man, learning a lot of shit like that. So yeah, if y'all got any questions for me, I'm here. I'm just chiming in.
Yeah, do you have any of your music, your art that you can pin, share with us?
Yep. So right now, the main thing I'm working on is the crowdfund. I started a crowdfund on Mirror for my next album. And I'll pin it at the top real quick. So the crowdfund is basically in support of my new album. And where is it? Share.
You gotta talk to Dill, man.
Man, I've been seeing him around. We actually hop on a call, a little spaces tonight. It's like I think 8 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock Cali time. We're just gonna be just strictly about music.
With Dill?
Yep, with Dill and Hershey. And it's a couple more. It's a couple other people too.
Yeah, tell him to come through this space. I invited him, but I don't know if he saw it.
I might send him one too. But
So
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, go and follow Green Room. It's linked on my profile. Green Room is a social network for musicians where every post is a digital merch drop, NFT kind of thing. So go and check that out. We are building a community right now where we're going to welcome a bunch of musicians to come together, learn all about this stuff, learn how to build stuff for the metaverse, or just like get their music involved, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Bet. I'm gonna do that now.
I pinned them up top so you guys can go follow them.
But yeah, the crowdfund I got running right now is I had a couple ownership coins made. These ownership coins grant you specific perks to the Danger Zone. That's the name of the album. The Danger Zone show, listening party, new NFTs that I'll be dropping from the Danger Zone collection. So far I've raised like 7.8 ETH and my goal is like 20. So if anybody wants to pitch in and grab ownership coin, just go ahead and go for it. Still a couple editions left. Outside of that, I'm just here to learn, man. For real. Just here to take in all the information I can.
It's nice to meet you, man.
Same.
Appreciate you. Yeah, he's always dropping knowledge and awesome gems in other spaces that I see you in.
Hey, I just wanted to real quick. I pinned a tweet up. I think it's the second one over now. A man I only know as Torstens. He was an important figure in my little corner of the NFT world, and he passed away recently. He was just very active in spaces, held a lot of them, spoke in a lot of them, and impacted a lot of people. And just got sick all of a sudden, and I forget what it was. It wasn't COVID. It was something else. It was like an aggressive cancer or something, and gone in a few weeks. So some people are remembering him today. If you can hit that pin tweet with a retweet, I would appreciate it. And cheers.
Thank you, man, and sorry about that. That's sad.
Man, that's tough. That's tough for real. I lost my dad back in May from it was super quick, a massive heart attack. So yeah, I know the pain, man.
Yeah, we all know it. If you're a human, you know it. You know what it's about. But it never ceases to be shocking when it comes so sudden, so fast. Even though it's just an acquaintance through Twitter, but still, it's just like wow. We don't realize what important parts of each other's lives we become. Over time, just interacting and having fun together and just sharing knowledge and stuff. It's a big deal. It's important what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone who I would love to give a quick mood shift, I would greatly appreciate it, but no pressure. You know who you are. I DM'd you back. All good if you don't want to, but if I see a request, you're up there if you just want to say hey.
In the meantime, NYC, you had something to say?
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys saw that Steam banned NFT gaming from their platform, and maybe if you guys had any thoughts on that or any reasonings on why. Probably just because the government hates us and hates the potential of us making money outside of them. But any other thoughts? I'd be curious to hear out for sure.
I think that they've relegated themselves to obscurity. I think that it's kind of like when Microsoft, the web was blowing up, and Microsoft decided, hey, we're going to do our own thing with Silverlight and .NET and stuff like that, instead of jumping onto like browser open standards and stuff like that. And what happened is JavaScript and the web technologies blew up, while .NET was kind of relegated to like only a few corporate people started using it. And like it was popular for a minute because it had some good tech there, but then it just kind of drifted out. So I think the same kind of thing is going to happen with Steam. As soon as they did that, Epic came up and said, hey, our app store is going to allow NFTs and crypto. So if you want to support this ecosystem, come over to Epic. So and I think that that's going to be the way that we're going to see it. And I think there's also going to be like a dark horse where we see like an OpenSea specifically dedicated to the game world. And the first person to really open up that way and become like a decentralized game app store on par with like something like Epic, they're going to do really well.
I'm back, by the way. I got rugged. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Eric, what are your thoughts on have you looked into Ultra, sort of what they're trying to do in that space?
I haven't looked at it deeply, no.
Cool. Also, how do you, if you guys know, how do you get into playing these NFT games? Besides, I mean, I have like Zrun, but like other ones that are obviously different than how Zrun's model is based.
So, I mean, the first thing that you got to do to get into those games is go to the game websites. Usually have some instructions on how to do it, but typically it starts with you buy some NFTs, and those NFTs give you access to the game world or special privileges in the game world. But the space is so new, and the game universe has been kind of so slow to adopt. They've kind of been doing their own thing. They've got a bunch of really popular plugins for like Unreal Engine and stuff like that already provide a lot of the benefits that the blockchain provides in terms of just having like in-game economies and stuff like that. So the traditional game world has been really slow to like pick up on, oh wait, these things actually have value outside of the game world that we could really take advantage of. And they've been really slow to embrace the composability of, why don't multiple games build on top of the same NFTs? And then, so for example, along came Loot, which was just like this throw together NFT project that just dropped like this guy who was a co-founder of Vine just dropped this Loot smart contract, didn't even have a UI for it, and people just went and started minting these things. And his idea was, these things don't really mean anything, and the community is going to decide what they mean, and we're going to build games on top of this stuff. And then a whole bunch of projects came in and started building on top of the things. So we're going to see a lot more of that. and a lot more of stuff where an NFT means many different things in many different game worlds. And then getting started on onboarding is going to be a lot easier and a lot more fun.
I just wanted to add a little alpha to what you were saying, Eric. I feel like that the Epic and Valve thing is the first example of you got one company that knows what blockchain, they both know what blockchain is going to do. Epic knows that it's going to disrupt the whole gaming world. And Valve is still trying to hold on to this old model because they don't want to lose their propriety, their centralization. But Epic saying that is basically them saying Fortnite is adapting blockchain. They have to. They're basically a decentralized program, especially after what happened with Apple and stuff. So I feel like this is one of the first major cases that affected us. This was really big with this Epic and Valve thing because this is one company, two huge multi-billion-dollar tech companies that you have one saying no, we like the old model, and we have one Fortnite which has millions of users saying no, we know what this thing is going to do. We come develop with us.
Hey,
Fortnite
just
is
saying.
huge.
Just saying, but Janky and Gugamon, who are two characters that are also NFT characters, are in Fortnite as playable characters.
Yeah. Fortnite is huge. If you guys don't know, Fortnite does like $1 billion in in-game item sales. They're huge. So having Epic come along and say, "Hey, we're going to embrace this ecosystem. Come and hang out on our thing," is really a big deal. But that said, this is going to be like a 10-year transformation. So I wouldn't expect like all the games next year to be NFT compatible games, but we're going to see some mainstream things popping up next year, year after that. It's going to start flooding and opening those gates. So I'm super excited about the gaming world, especially.
What were your thoughts on Tim Sweeney saying that they're going to allow blockchain tech in their games, but not cryptocurrencies specifically?
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, that
think
doesn't really make much sense to me. I guess it's like a first iteration before they can comply with like AML laws and whatnot.
Well, it does, and it doesn't make sense in the way where they don't want kids to be kind of doing internet gambling, so to speak, because the route EA is trying to take, for example, is they want to build their own metaverse in which, you know, people can play NFL and all these things and watch it in VR while the game's going on with their friends, but then they can use EA's cryptocurrency to bet on the outcome of the game with their friends, or they can use it to boost their player stats. And this is going to create a whole, you know, kind of gambling issue for children, but legal gambling at the same time. So it's very strange. To be honest with you, I think the inclusion of cryptocurrency initially makes it more of like a cash grab to me. You know, if it's not just for pure utility, if it actually has value tied to it, and someone will create liquidity for it. While I like what he's doing, you know, including blockchain technology, but not including cryptocurrency initially until they find a way to do it right, so to speak.
So one thing that I think they're kind of missing an opportunity here if they don't allow cryptocurrency transactions in game. They're missing out on the opportunity to do all kinds of things like royalties and stuff like that on the NFTs, and they're also going kind of like the Coinbase route of the NFT transfer system, right? Because it would have to be centralized if the users can't like put crypto in their wallets to buy the NFTs in the first place. So there's like a lot of layers to it that need to be hashed out, but it's very early, right? They're going to figure this stuff out.
Bugsy, what's up, man?
None. I didn't really get an answer from you on the whole. If you think there's going to be a need for insuring NFTs in the future, and I'm also curious if you think we'll see where you can, like, use them to get a loan or like a pawn
you
shop
can
or
already
something.
do that, Bugsy. You can
do that.
on Aave right now. You can do loans through through NFT collateral. But I mean, it's going to be interesting because, you know, Ben and I are trying to. This isn't going to be part of the initial release of Solon, but this is a future thing unless we can figure it out to work out perfectly. But you know, we're working on insurance pools and things like that. But it gets complicated because, you know, how can you prove necessarily that someone was hacked and they didn't, you know, purposely give up their private key to try to make it look like they're hacked, and in reality just transferred the NFT elsewhere and are trying to claim the insurance money maliciously. These are details we're going to have to figure out and hammer out,
I
because
feel like we just talked about something like this recently, actually.
yeah,
Now that you're saying that.
our idea in theory was to create a position in which if you were to claim your insurance money, you would have to put up ETH as collateral during your claim while it's being investigated. And if it's determined it's malicious, you lose all the Ethereum you put up in collateral for the investigation. But, we have to figure out how exactly we're going to determine it's malicious. We have to get it right, close to 100% of the time. Otherwise, this insurance pool may not work out the right way for the people providing liquidity for this pool.
Yeah,
you got to check out NewCypher. It's a security protocol. It's a security token.
I know NewCypher. Yeah, it's very different. NewCypher is very, very different. What's up, Eric?
So I was saying that the putting up staking is basically what it's called when you put up money to say, if I do something bad, you're gonna slash me, right? So you have to be really careful with that, because if it was malicious and then somebody was able to trick your investigators, then that person lost their tokens, and then they trying to claim their insurance, they also lost money. Right, so it's a really hard problem, and one of the biggest issues in the ecosystem right now is that fighting Sybil attacks is one of the hardest things there is, and it could, Sybil is a way to fake the insurance claims, right? So they basically create a bunch of wallets and say, hey, this thing was stolen from this wallet to this other wallet, but in reality, they own both of the wallets, right? So you really have to, for an insurance thing to work, you actually have to do something like KYC, where you're verifying that that person is an individual person and not somebody who owns a bunch of different wallets.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why we're likely not going to deploy this with the initial protocol, like I said, because we want to keep things 100% decentralized.
That sounds impossible.
We gotta come up with the 100% decentralized solution here. What's up, Bugsy?
I said that sounds impossible to down and confirm that. That sounds very difficult to do that.
Well, that is right. It is, but it's the thing is, nothing's impossible on the blockchain and Web3 and decentralization space. Everything is going to be decentralized at some point in time. It's just someone's got to create it. Someone's got to come up with the technology. Someone's got to come up with the implementation. And that's we've already created so many things that have never been created before at Solon. And so many other cryptocurrency protocols. I mean, look at Balancer, look at Bancor, look at the MakerDAO. Look at all these other protocols that have, just based off smart contract technology, have created all these things that no one ever thought could ever be decentralized.
Yeah,
do you think that
super hard,
staking
but it's
will
worth
fix
doing.
that? And if losing membership in your DAO, a DAO vote to get somebody out for fraud?
What was that, Corpy?
Do you think? I think Eric's idea was dope about staking. If we all staked, you stake to add to the DAO, and also you think the DAO would be able to vote members out for fraud? That would work. The group consensus.
Yeah, but I mean, it's exactly what Eric was saying earlier. There's no, in its current state of things, there's no way to prove with 100% certainty that someone has committed fraud or not on a claim. And we need to get to the point where we can prove it with 100% certainty, because it's not an insurance protocol, and in decentralized insurance protocol, in my opinion, which is meant to be equitable and fair for all, if you can't prove that with that level of certainty. There's otherwise, why create it in the first place?
That sounds exactly like an insurance protocol. I think you probably need to develop that.
We're brainstorming. We think every day, but like I said, right now the insurance protocol is not going to be included in the initial protocol release, because unless we can get it down so it works perfectly and it's 100% accurate before then it will be, but it likely will not be.
Yeah. So one of the things that we can do with this is we can make a pool, an insurance pool, that spreads the risk out over a large number of people. And if we get a good enough Sybil resistance, then we can afford to, pay out some fraudulent claims if we can reduce the fraud to a low enough level that it just becomes kind of noise, right? And that could work. And so we've been looking at how do we manage this risk on chain. And, I've been talking with some of the DeFi teams since 2017 about like, how do we do this and how do we make this work? And one of the initial problems is just to reach a level of liquidity in which a small amount of fraud just becomes noise. So it's just been a matter of like growing the ecosystem and then growing the liquidity pools in the protocols that we're using that's backing up our insurance. And once we get to that level, then it becomes a lot more possible.
You're
But we also have
100%
to
right,
solve
Eric.
Sybil.
But yeah, see, you're 100% right. But this is where we also see holes in DeFi protocols when they get hacked for like $60 million, et cetera, because of situations like this. If there's even the slightest loophole for someone to take advantage of, they will. That's a fact that comes with decentralization and cryptocurrency and being anonymous. If someone can commit some sort of malicious action or interaction, if it's even possible, it will happen. And this is something every DeFi protocol has to assume. And that's what we've thought of, going that route, just creating a giant liquidity pool. But the fact is, at the end of the day, someone's going to take advantage of it and a front run attack or something similar or related to essentially, take a sizable chunk of that liquidity and cost the protocol millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes a situation of who's insuring the insurers, because like the more you centralize the liquidity of something, the more that liquidity pool itself becomes a major target for attack. And that's one of the big problems that we've been looking at in the ecosystem for a long time. And don't think that we haven't been thinking about this for years, ever since like the first like DIDX and stuff like that came on the scene, OX protocol, stuff like that. A bunch of people in the ecosystem have been really thinking long and hard about these particular issues. So it is coming. There will be solutions to this in the future, and there already are some on-chain insurance options out there. And the number of those and the quality of those is going to grow, and they will expand to the NFT ecosystem. It's just a matter of time.
What about hardware integration and somehow trying to figure a way to integrate it with the hardware so you would know exactly where it came from? Or maybe about validators and nodes, and you can tell which node is compromised.
Corpy, that's a great question. So we were actually going to do an insurance pool initially rolled out with our hardware product. But we want it to be completely decentralized. And the problem is, if you want to do that kind of interaction with the hardware product, then you're going to need one of two things, either some sort of monitoring software, or you're going to have to give them not the availability to essentially gift out these NFTs, closing all their ports out and making it so things get a little complicated. They get a little weird. I mean, it is possible to do it with a hardware product, but then it'd only be centralized around that hardware product.
Because if it came from if you made people that wanted to rent their hardware wallet out and they knew they could make money on it, I would get a hardware wallet specifically for that. Especially, we all need that. That's all coming. Like today, for example, I set up a new wallet today, and just setting up different key codes and secret phases for each of these wallets is going to get tedious. And I realized a lot of regular people are not going to want to do this like we do this, stacking all these wallets. And if it was some sort of way where we can know where it all came from but still keep it decentralized, that would work. Because a lot of people are going to want hardware wallets. So you guys are going in the craziest direction.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're still going to have people set up these private keys. We were actually in a recent space discussing ways to better handle the storage of private keys and things related. And we came up with a crazy idea that I think would be a great implementation. I'd love to hear what you think about this, Eric. But using decentralized private storage on the blockchain to store your private key, and essentially just making it accessible by multiple wallet addresses that you own and have control of, like essentially a group of multi-sig wallet addresses that have control over a storage area that holds the private key for all of them.
So you're essentially trying to do like what people do with text messaging systems for just receiving mass text, essentially, but with crypto wallets.
Maybe, kind of. Let me think about it.
It's almost like a wallet proxy.
Yeah. So essentially, you can only access this store of information if, let's say, 2 out of the 3 wallet addresses agree to do so, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this way, if one of them you lose the private key for one, then you essentially, the other 2 vote to replace that last one. And it works similar with a multi-sig wallet, but we want to create a similar implementation for already existing wallets.
So there's something called a smart wallet, which is a smart contract that can own resources and control the transfer of those resources. And that is something that a lot of projects have been experimenting with, and that's how things like the kind of trusted guardians and stuff like that work in some of the crypto wallets that support guardian backup systems and things like that. But they're basically kind of like a multi-sig in that you have multiple wallet addresses that can access this thing and issue commands based on this thing. And that's possible to do on the blockchain. And it's possible to actually create a wallet account that is owned like on chain, completely on chain. And that is something that we have been looking into for a long time. So some of the very first wallets I started working on was we were thinking this is kind of how we have to do this, or because the problem, we're solving lots and lots of different kinds of problems with this. One of the problems is that the most common way people lose access to their crypto and their NFTs and their tokens and so on is they lose their own private keys, and their own personal private key management is the biggest threat to their security, way more than hacking and stuff like that. I've personally lost a bunch of private keys because I didn't keep track of them very well, and I don't know anybody who's been in the ecosystem for multiple years who hasn't lost some private keys and really kind of felt that pain. So having the ability to connect multiple wallets to an on-chain resource that they can move funds around with is really good. There are lots of threats to that model, though. So, for instance, like how do we actually store the private key? It has to be encrypted, maybe, but maybe eventually that encryption will break because of things like. So there's kind of this thing called quantum cryptography, where a quantum supercomputer can potentially break some of the encryption that we're using today. And there have been threats discovered in crypto algorithms that were essentially discovered years and years ago and exploited quietly in the dark corners of the internet. And it only came out years later that those vulnerabilities even existed. And so, there was a big controversy with the NSA holding on to things like exploits that they could launch against cryptography protocols and not disclosing those exploits to the development teams behind them so they could get fixed for everybody. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that could be threats to those models, but it's definitely something that a lot of us have been thinking about for a long time and we're working on fixing.
You guys are solving both of my problems I had today. Like literally, I opened a new wallet, like Veracity, and they use alphabet letters. So I wrote my handwriting wrong a little bit. So I'm like, fuck, what if this Q, it was like a 6 and a G. So I had to make the G a capital G, like, yo, I hope I don't make this a fucking 6 and think this G is a capital G. And I realized that that's gonna be the biggest problem with like our grandmothers and grandfathers. They're not gonna keep any secret keys.
Hell no.
They're at all. Because
well, see, that's why I'm trying to bring the more user-friendly side of that with my hardware wallet address. You know, essentially everything's built in, but at the same time, you know, there's the security problem of we can't just have it preloaded because, you know, if their device breaks or if someone interacts with it at the factory, they could essentially touch all their cryptocurrency and know their key beforehand. So, you know, private keys are important, but if you're looking at some sort of multi-sig type structure, I don't know if you've ever used this, Eric, but Genesis multi-sig is a really great application. They have a really, really cool multi-sig wallet in which you can set up 3, 5, 7 plus wallet addresses. In this way, if one of these addresses gets hacked or you lose the private key to it, or even 2 and you have a 5 setup, or 3 and you have a 7 setup, you can use the majority of wallet addresses to replace those that have been affected or afflicted with new wallet addresses to always keep the secure factor there.
Yeah, so we've been working on this problem for a long time. With Greenroom, we're targeting the masses, right? I built consumer apps. Like I built one of the most successful music apps in the ecosystem, the Web2 space. And so that had like 500,000 bands and 30 million. It was called Band Page. It's now YouTube Artist Pages. So so now we're working on Greenroom, which was another app designed for the mainstream. And one of the first things that we decided was we're not going to make people mess with the private keys and connect their MetaMask wallets and stuff like this to interact with our app. So we're using something called a delegated key management, where there's hardware wallets actually stored in the cloud. And the user completely controls those hardware wallets. We never see their private keys. We never have access to their private keys. And it's all, when they're interacting with their private keys, all of that happens in an iframe that we can't access. Nobody else can access because it's in a little sandbox, right? And then the control of that private key is delegated to the cloud. So it's kind of like having a safety deposit box in the cloud that's actually hosted by Amazon's. Amazon has a key management service that kind of hosts keys for things like big companies use it all the time to protect the private keys for their servers so that people can't take over their whole website and stuff like that. So that's kind of the key delegation service thing that we're using. But
Eric, would this be like a username and password to interact with this private key?
No, so it's completely passwordless. What they do is they put in their email address and it sends them a link to their email that they click on. And there's also an app that can work offline where they just go and click on a link in the app, and that authenticates them, and then they're able to use their private key in the iframe.
So it's the link itself?
So the link itself generates a token called a decentralized identity token. I don't necessarily know how deep you want to go into the tech here, but yeah, it generates a decentralized identity token, which is kind of like it's sort of like an NFT, except it's temporary and it just provides
access.
Says
you are you.
Yeah, it says you are you, and it provides access to actually use your private key.
Oh, no one ever sees the private key, not even you. No one interacts with it whatsoever.
Yeah, the end user never even knows their private key exists, except that we have an option to export it. If they really know what they're doing and they want to, they can export it and then load it into MetaMask or something like that.
Identity token is given through this link. So if someone compromised your email, they could gain access potentially.
Yeah, if somebody had access to your email, they could capture that DID token. And well, no, they couldn't, because the email doesn't actually send the DID token. It just sends something that interacts with our servers to give the user access to the DID token in the original browser space, in the original browser tab. So
it's based off their IP?
Yeah, so it's based off of their session in the browser tab, which is authenticated by HTTPS.
So it has to be from their home computer on their home Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, on the computer that they used to request to log in the first place. So
I gotcha. So someone could really only do it if they downloaded malware and they remoted into their desktop.
Yeah, exactly. So even if somebody got the email address, it doesn't actually log them in through the email link. It just authenticates that session in the browser tab where you initiated the connection. So yeah, it's really hard to attack.
Do you have a way to completely decentralize this?
I'm working on that. We haven't decentralized it yet, but I'm working on it. I've worked on a couple of projects that are using this kind of authentication, and we've been using this authentication on my dev community sites like Eric Elliott JS and Dev Anywhere for a couple of years now. So since probably mid 2018, and they're working really, really well. We haven't had a single security incident the whole time.
You guys need to get together.
It's
You have
great.
two sides of the same problem, and y'all need to really get together. I'm good at putting people together. I do management stuff. You guys have the same problem, but two different sides. He has the hardware side. You have the software side. You guys really need to come together. That sounds like the same project.
Thanks. Honestly, Eric, I think it would be great if I could integrate this somehow with the hardware device in the initial setup process, because obviously all the ports are going to be closed and everything's going to be localized to that device itself.
So in the initial thing, the delegated key management with AWS obviously needs a connection to AWS to actually get access to the private key in the first place. So it can't work completely offline. I don't know how to do that yet.
What if you integrated with Arweave?
Our device needs to connect to the internet anyway, just to do read writes to the blockchain. So
Yeah.
I doubt that'd be a problem. But Arweave is really cool for decentralized database storage. I use it personally for my own project.
I feel like Arweave is
data private.
AWS was.
What about AWS?
I feel like Arweave is like the biggest thing. I feel like Arweave is going to be one of the biggest coins just for what they're doing, and when people really understand what they're doing, that
I
you
love
can
what
have
they're doing,
unlimited storage.
but they're definitely not a competitor to AWS. Anchor, if you've heard of Anchor, they're more of a competitor to AWS.
I heard of them.
Anchor does decentralized computing power, and basically what makes Anchor especially cool is the problem with decentralized computing beforehand is essentially anyone could rent out their computing power, but the problem was while they were renting it out, they could still read the onboard memory on their computer. So no company was going to pay Anchor for their computing power, even though it was cheaper than AWS, because obviously the most important thing to them at the end of the day is their IP, right? Their intellectual property. They don't want to risk losing their intellectual property just because someone could read the onboard memory of these computers, while they didn't have to worry about that with AWS. So Anchor created this special program that only works with specific Intel chips. So only certain computers can do this in the first place. They have to have a certain Intel chip on their motherboard, but it essentially enables them, while Anchor is running, while they're renting out their computing power, they can't read the onboard memory. They have certain software that activates this computer chip while they're renting out their computing power that prevents them from being able to read their onboard memory. So it creates an ecosystem where it makes sense for, these mega companies and corporations that would be using all this spare computing power in the first place to actually use their platform and protocol.
Hey guys, I'm absolutely loving the conversation. Super gem is being dropped as always. I do want to make sure that we get to everyone, and also make sure that we don't get too technical for the rest of the audience. But this is a conversation that should obviously continue. Bugsy, I don't know if you had anything to say, but I know there are a few speakers who recently came up. Ara Tech came up recently. Jennifer as well.
Quick question for CJ after. Whenever.
Yeah. Jennifer or Tech, do you guys have anything that you want to speak to, or David, some of the people that just recently joined?
Jennifer, you go ahead. I don't want to cut off the flow of conversation.
You're not at all. Don't worry. It's nice to meet you.
Okay. Hey, guys. So yeah, I've been investing in crypto for a while. I have like 41 altcoins, but the reason I'm super interested in a lot of it is because of the utility behind it, and just trying to keep up on what options there might be for my startup, say like 5 years from now, to possibly get off of AWS at some point. I'm always skeptical of like going all in on a big company like that has a lot of control. And we're also getting close to closing a partnership that would allow us to be using crypto to reward our clients, and it would be fiat backed. So it's I know there's some people misusing the crypto name recently with things not being backed, but what else can I talk about? Oh, and I have a equity crowdfunding raise too, which is not the same as an ICO, but has that similar feel where we're allowing anybody to invest. So it goes through WeFunder, so people don't have to be an accredited investor. Huh?
Are you running a SAFT?
we are running it on a safe note, but it's going through a special purpose vehicle on WeFunder. But all you have to know is that it's kind of like as easy as going through Robinhood for public stock. It's that easy to get private stock this way when we're on the platform. So
you're not
really
doing like
cool.
a simple agreement for tokens.
So for the WeFunder, it's not tokens; it's like straight equity. But we're also doing the other thing on the side. There's a lot of streams going at the same time.
So as someone who's worked in this space for a very long time, who like as a profession full time, what I did before building my own protocol and working on my own is consulting for other cryptocurrencies and companies to help them bring value to their cryptocurrency and to their protocol. Just as a suggestion, you don't have to listen to it whatsoever, but you mentioned that you wanted to peg your cryptocurrency to more of a stable or a fiat. I think that's a great thing to do, as you know, to eliminate the volatility sector for maybe some side of your ecosystem. But personally, I think it'd be better if you created a cryptocurrency that had some specific application in your ecosystem that you can only access by using your cryptocurrency, whether it's you can only invest and specific entities if you use this cryptocurrency, or maybe it's investing into your company if you use your own cryptocurrency, and it's a governance model and then this DAO, which is controlled by the cryptocurrency, and the cryptocurrency holders decide which companies they think should be approved through your ecosystem. And this way, you know, it creates another stream of income for you and your team, because obviously you'll hold a section of this cryptocurrency, you'll get it initially and early on, and people could invest in it to, for example, invest in your project and your ecosystem, or it could be some other utility in your ecosystem.
It's a little bit confusing. So we're running an equity crowdfunding for my startup right now. This other thing with the crypto would be going through a partner, and they're handling all the crypto part, and they've already built it all out. They're just going to go live in a couple weeks. So I can't really talk about that part too much, right, until everything's signed. And then we're mostly B2B enterprise SaaS, so really large companies. And the consumer thing, we didn't spend as much energy on. And so that's why I'm really excited to have somebody come in and partner and be able to build that up, because if anybody's done a startup or anything like that, you know, it's like really hard to focus on multiple sectors. Like B2B, like SaaS is different than the consumer side. And so like our marketing can get all muddled up and time wise. And, you know, right now we're bootstrapping. So it's hard to, you know, have all of that going on at the same time. But yeah, it is a little confusing because that's kind of like two separate things in a way.
Jennifer, have you spoken to the EEA at all, the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance?
Mm-mm.
It might be a good group or just if you're, you know, exploring or working through the process of like somehow incorporating crypto into a B2B like enterprise SaaS business. That might be a good group to talk to, because their whole focus is bringing ETH and blockchain like technology to large enterprises. Like the Oasis Foundation, so which has like a lot of large SaaS companies and technology companies backing them. I think like the IBMs and the Googles are sponsors of the Oasis Foundation, which is now one and the same with the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
That's like more my background is like enterprise blockchain, like more historically.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't think we would move into that anytime soon. But then the opportunity came up, and for the consumer side, it looks like it's going to be really easy for us to jump on that the way we already designed things. So then the question is, do we move on that in the near term for the enterprise piece also? I don't even know if I have the bandwidth to wrap my head around that right now on the same side. Even if it's not something we do in the next couple months or year, you kind of have to like look ahead. So I'll definitely check that out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, either way, sounds like what you all are doing over there is super exciting.
Thanks.
Air, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up? How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Happy to be up here. well. I've been AFK for like 4 days, spending time with family. Driving back, got work tomorrow, so I'm like naturally on a spaces now. Y'all were talking about wallets. I think a question I haven't asked before, or maybe I just haven't read about it, is with the two-part question, with the hardware wallet for Solon, what I guess is like UX feature that's going to make this easier? Like what's going to be like the biggest marketing like aspect of that to like market to people who like cannot use ledgers because it's just hard? And then second, prototyping's in December, early 2022. Do y'all have like a manufacturing plan yet, or is that far out?
These are great questions, Air. So basically, our major marketing factor right now is just the ease compared to having to create a Coinbase account, link your bank account, then download a MetaMask and copy and paste wallet addresses, blah blah blah. With our products, you set it up, and right away you can use your credit card to buy NFTs and cryptocurrency. All you do is you select what you want to buy, and you tap your card. That right there is the main attractive feature. And also, you don't need to own a laptop. You don't need to own a smartphone to be able to interact with cryptocurrencies and the internet. Our main target audience is the majority of the world that doesn't necessarily have access to smartphones or smart devices. We want to create an affordable product that gives everyone equal access to cryptocurrency and to the market. We're still having that private key storage problem, though. We're trying to figure out something. Hopefully, Eric was just discussing his idea for potential solutions, and it is a pain in the ass, as we all know. The whole private key storage thing, and that's something that is never that we need to get around in order to make everything more extremely mainstream. Right? We need to simplify that whole interaction for it to get mainstream. Right now, we don't have a solution for that. As far as manufacturing goes, we're going to have prototypes out in the field in probably end of January. And our PCB manufacturer is JLC PCB. And then our resin-based manufacturer for the case itself, we haven't picked one yet. We're going through a few of them. We're starting with 3D printed shells, though, for the prototypes. But for the final product, it'll be a resin cast. We haven't found a manufacturer for that yet, but that's simpler than the PCB manufacturer.
It'd be dope.
Okay.
If they had some boule loaded on their hardware wallet, and that could be their first interaction with a coin. If they had some natively loaded.
It's funny you say that, Corpy. We were thinking about every time a wallet address is set up through the hardware, that it get an instant airdrop of like some Solon token, a small amount, just to get them into the ecosystem. We thought would be kind of cool.
That's super cool.
And
Yeah,
NFT drop, that'd be dope.
We do NFT drops. So whenever somebody signs up on Green Room, they get an NFT to look at right away. So it's part of the sign up process.
That's dope. What's up, Eric?
So I was saying, whenever somebody signs up, they get.
Sorry, Eric. I didn't mean.
Wrong Eric.
Yes, it's Air. I thought he was saying something. Maybe he got rugged because he's driving. But Eric, that's so cool. I got to sign up now. I want a free NFT.
Yeah, we're opening it up really soon.
It's a whitelist.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I think I was probably getting rugged because I'm like hopping cell towers. I think I had two follow-up questions. One, have y'all heard of Dharma?
The Dharma Initiative?
I don't know if they're an initiative, but they kind of like had like so-called, wallet where it was bank to DeFi, like that was their marketing plan. Where essentially you're bypassing Coinbase and they're trying to be the new on-ramp straight into DeFi protocols. I ended up not liking them because in order to do that, the computational power was higher, and so gas was really high, even when gas was low. So it's like, is would you see that as an issue with the hardware wallet if you're trying to do things
Great question.
direct to?
Since we have our whole automated market maker and decentralized exchange side of things, we don't have to go through a foreign body, so to speak. So the gas fees is going to be the exact same thing as if it were transferred from Coinbase.
So
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah.
Cool. And then
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, yeah, I'm just trying to fit in stuff before I get rugged. Following up on the manufacturing plan, I just don't know. This is me trying to just reach out and let you know that, like, it's pretty much all I do is qualify manufacturers, global manufacturers in the medical device space. And so I just want to make sure that y'all, know how to properly validate what they're doing, because they'll do some shady shit. I'm not
I
from the
know,
electronic
dude.
PCB market.
You're right, though.
Like, we got PCB part and our part, and
They put like shit
had
shotter
to
on
offer
it,
out
or they
like
don't
6
put the right
times.
parts. I know it happens all the time. It happened to me in my
Yes,
last job.
dude.
Oh yeah, all the time. So it's funny because I sampled a few different providers, and actually I came in contact with JLC PCB because of when I worked as a contractor for the U.S. military developing X-ray technology. It's we used to use Global, but they were fucking terrible. Like they cheaped out on their solder, so we had plenty of times where boards would just fail because there wasn't enough solder there to make actual connections. So we're vetting. We get prototypes and everything. We're vetting everything hard, and if we get any bad, all of our boards and everything are tested before the hardware is assembled. And if we get any bad batch, that's it. They're cut out, and we're moving on to the next PCB manufacturer.
Yeah, good move. All right, glad to hear it. Yeah, I don't know how many times we specify a specific part and they think they can just like switch out a resistor.
I know.
Or something.
Yeah, and then it's got a different
and
wattage. And then are you fucking, and it fucks up the whole thing because not enough current can flow or there's an overload.
Yep. It's like it might be the same spec, but like usually it's like the quality of the manufacturer's shit. So there's variation, and then we end up getting drift over time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So, but and it's amazing how there are too many shit manufacturers out there. But thankfully, I do have a lot of experience with this. From I've designed plenty of PCBs. I've designed like PCBs with over 40 pages of schematics. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited on the hardware side. A lot of cool things are going down. It looks like we're gonna be able to make some of our more reach goals for the initial product, which will be great. Which includes the solar panel on the back of the hardware device. So we're trying to measure out if it'd be enough power to essentially power the device, so people in areas that may not have access to electricity would never need to access electricity. They can just chuck their phone out or their hardware device out into the sun and it'll charge itself. So we're trying to measure if it's going to be able to be enough power to sustain it completely, or if we'll need an additional power or charging source. But hopefully it'd be enough to sustain it in its entirety. Bugsy, what's up, man?
You there?
R got rugs,
yeah,
but thank you, R.
So I don't know if you touched on it or not, but you said that the hardware is going to need in source of internet, right?
Correct.
Is there any way to set it up where it could be worked with a mobile hotspot? And also, would you be able to set it up so you could create a link between your phone and use your phone as like the Face ID as like a 2-part authenticator or whatever, 2-step verification? Could you set something like that up?
That's possible. So one thing we're working on is if you've ever used a Ledger Nano X, you can essentially connect through their UI, which is on your laptop, through Bluetooth. We're also looking at incorporating the same thing for our more expensive hardware version. We want to create a version that's also all-in-one, that's nice and affordable for people all over the world. And then we're going to have eventually, probably a year from now, a more bougie, so to speak, version of our product for people who like the nice, clean look and want all the bells and whistles, etc. to do more than just being a direct connection to our ecosystems to allow you to trade and invest in cryptocurrency and NFTs.
So can I get my passport, social security card, and driver's license, and my vaccination status on there too?
No. I mean, not on this, not on this
Not
rendition.
yet.
Not yet. I mean, maybe on a future one, but not this. I mean, it will kind of be like a mini smartphone, but at the same time, we're trying to make this. What Ledger does is great. Like, they have a great model, they have a great product, but it's only great because you have a laptop or you have a smartphone. Not everyone in the world has a laptop or a smartphone.
Yeah, Grid Plus is sick.
Yeah, a lot of these things have great products, but the thing with Ledger too is you can't purchase cryptocurrency straight through with a credit card. You can't purchase NFTs with a credit card, and that's also a feature we want to bring here. We want to be the all-in-one, as accessible, as friendly as possible, and as low of an educational barrier to entry as possible for the entire industry.
Absolutely, I'm super excited to see what you guys do, and if you're able to release prototypes, drops, even in the meantime, leak some of that stuff. I see we have some new speakers. What up, Crux? What up, Mohammed? You guys have anything to say? Just vibing out. Happy Sunday.
I'm gonna have something cool to show y'all in about 2.5 minutes.
Hey, that sounds cool. Yeah, peace. Thanks, Alex, for inviting me up. I'm just in here chilling, getting some work done. I literally just popped in, so I'm interested to hear what's going on in here. I like the title of the room, but yeah, thanks for having me.
Yo, what up? What up?
What's up, Dante?
What up, TJ, Boxy, everybody? John, I want to say sorry about your friend also. But yeah, you were talking. I just picked up a couple of thoughts here. One is about decentralization. You were talking about the roller ups and all the stuff. Someone were mentioning Algorand as well. So I think that I don't know if that network, CJ, are you thinking about getting into the ecosystem of Solon? But I was listening to the creator is thinking, they are thinking like a lot about the verification, because we have to acknowledge that we are, as humans, we have like a information verification problem, and also that is became with the three paradox of the blockchain and all that stuff. And I think that is Algorand, at least from what I know, they are trying to really solve that problems with some lottery system inside of the stacking. Yeah, because if you buy right now Algorand, for example, you are just already stacking. They are trying to make some lottery stuff.
It's nice because it's like you're auto staking. But,
yes,
I mean, I like what Algorand is doing with their technology. I like how they're trying to change real estate and all these other industries. But the problem with Algorand right now, and what they need to focus on and what they need to fix, is their blockchain is way too centralized.
That's what I figured. Because from where it comes.
That's the problem for me. And also, they need to improve on their oracles for us to be able to do a translation of governance from ETH mainnet over to their chain.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what do you think about that? Because
I think Algorand has great technology. I love what they're doing, but it's a fundamental thing. They need to get more decentralized. I love what they're doing. I love their tech. If I were to rank the blockchains on technology alone, they'd be in my top 3. But decentralization is the ultimate number one factor in my point of view, to me personally. But yes, they're not decentralized enough for me.
Yeah, nice. Also, you were talking about the gaming stuff. I think that Abraham was here, and I was looking through his Twitter feed, and he was talking about the IG Guild's game. And I was playing Axie, because I don't know if you know, but Axie Infinity is like a economic phenomenon in my country. For example, there are a lot of people living out of it, because if you are living in a country with minimum wage of $3 a month, and it came suddenly this stuff that you can play on internet just and start making like 300 or 150 a month is a lot of money. And there is people surviving from it. Also, I don't know if I don't know if you know, but in Filipinas there is also like Filipinas has like the last 3 years the
Oh yeah,
GDP.
dude. My family lives in the Philippines. They love Axis.
Yeah, bro. Also, Axie is going to be like with IGG. They are. I think that they want to even make like a theme park. They are going to make some mangas, or there are a lot of stuff. Also, I'm playing League of Kingdoms because I was searching a lot of gaming because I love gaming. So. League of Kingdoms, I think that is like the next Age of Empires, but in blockchain. So, if, for example, they already have these like real estates. For me, it's like a real estate, digital real estate, where you can just buy an NFT and you just start staking dice, for example. That is already working. So you just for you have big, and also you are owning this digital asset on the game as well. So, for example, if you are because if more people get into the game and more people start playing, and you earn more because your land just start to make more money, for example, or make more resources as well. So, just sharing thoughts here.
Yo, Stoned, what up? Thank you for joining.
Yo, what's up, Alex? Thank you for hosting this room. I'm happy I made it. I've been on all these different calls all day, but yeah, I'm happy it's still going. What y'all talking about, yeah?
Man, I don't know. We've been running through it. A lot of stuff. A lot of good knowledge drop. Just hanging out. Happy Sunday.
Word. Yeah, I mean, you know me. If anybody wants to talk about art, or NFTs, I'm here. But I see Tay down there. What's up, bro? I haven't spoke to you in a while. What's up, Tay? I think that's the only person I see that I know in here. Yeah, Alex, you got some different faces out, bro. I like this. I like not knowing people. What's up? Introduce me to the people, bro. What's up?
What up?
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was just talking to my buddy about, right? Like some of the people I hit up to ask if they would come join. It's like common people that I see in different rooms, and there's maybe 3 different rooms where I see a bunch of different common people, then 3 other rooms where I see a whole different group, like Stones, like your whole crew and stuff. So yeah, it's cool to like see these worlds collide.
Word. I guess I'll just talk about my world, I guess, for a little bit.
Yeah, take some stuff, man.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, I'm Stones the Organic. I'm a creator out of Philadelphia. If you don't know about Server 47, you should know about it. It's a Discord me and Andre O'Shea launched about a week ago. We just created a place for creatives to come and chill. It's not so techy. We're not all crypto. We all love NFTs. We all love art. So we're not focused on sales. David, you got a hot mic, bro. If you unmute it.
Oh, sorry, brother.
Yeah, no, you good, bro. But yeah, so yeah, we just created a cool Discord channel. And yeah, the community we're building has been really, really kind of like just growing itself and running itself. Like we didn't expect it to grow up, to blow up this fast. We've already got like 500 members in the first week. And me and Dre have been just like creating all these crazy ideas that we're going to start promoting within the community, and like just giving them decisions to make, and just like bringing things to life. I'm about to share it in the space real quick. So yeah, if y'all want to check it out,
47 is the shit.
Yeah, Server 47 is lit. Like mad people have been getting sales since they've joined. Mad people have started collabing. Yeah, mad people are just like finding themselves, asking questions, getting help with their drop strategies, like all of that. Like yeah, it's just been dope. And yeah, if you're having a bad day, definitely slide to Server 47. And then we have me and Dre actually have private channels as artists within the server too. So yeah, we have like keys, or like I have a stone that you can purchase or whatever, and you get like exclusive access to our arts and like our work in progress stuff. So it's been dope. It's just like bouncing around, like talking to your friends, and we just go meme crazy sometimes, and like yeah, it's just a really good place. So I definitely suggest checking it out if you just want to talk about art and find dope artists in the space that are actually like building community and not just caring about
crypto and sales, like that shit gets boring sometimes. Like, and then like let's talk about art and like what people projects are going on, and let's joke around and laugh. Like that's what we're really here for too. So yeah, it's not just about like a project or like a flip or like anything in our Discord. We really just are making dope things together. Yeah, thanks Alex for the space.
Yeah. I was gonna say not even just about art, but just hanging out in the Discord in 747, and like you said, just bullshitting, talking shit, and laughing and hanging out. It's just like such a positive vibe space that is just comfortable and relaxed and just cool to hang out in.
Hey, I'm gonna head out. Thank you, Alex, for hosting. Eric, thanks for being co-host. It's been great talking to you, man. I love seeing you in these spaces. I'm so happy you just randomly popped in my space on Wednesday. It's good to hear from you. Dante, great for me to hear from you like always, bro. Bugsy, Corpy, R, David, everyone. It's great to hear from you. Great to see you, John Sims. Don't hate, celebrate. Thank you all for coming. Morgan, I see you. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll catch you around.
Word, thank you, CJ. And you and Stone should link up
CJ.
too.
I just want to say something real quick. Eric, you know that I have a friend he's a rapper, a Venezuelan rapper, and he's just connecting with, there are a lot of big artists, Venezuelan artists right now that they are trying to produce the first NFTs